We're live.
Awesome.
Well, firstly, thank you everyone for joining us. We know that it's probably going to take a little bit of time for people to jump on, but we are live.
Yeah.
So, guys, firstly, thank you so much.
Welcome along. Thanks for joining.
We have got a lot to talk about. So,
yeah,
please feel free to put your questions in.
Yeah. I say,
let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, we've got.
Get your questions in. Obviously, I know Tim will have the comments up. I've got the comments up here to my left. So if I look down to the left, it's not because I'm lying or I'm a dog. I am just checking the comments. So we'll bounce onto those as we go through. Like Tim says, got a hell of a lot to cover tonight. So get comfy. So just to break down, if that's all right, Tim, break down what we're going to do tonight. Obviously, the main thing we're going to cover is obviously the event and everything leading up to and through the event at Stanta with combat airsoft. Also, what we want to do is cover obviously high points, low points, and also some of the kit that me and Tim ran throughout the event, what worked for us, what didn't. Just a little, so we'll get to that a bit further on in the video, but some of the kit that we did use this weekend, which what I thought, in my opinion, was an absolute dream, was the Psionics and the new SFDI from Talk Precision. Two awesome bits of kit that performed flawlessly. Over to you.
Mate, there is some comments coming in. Okay, so everyone's got their business ready. Let's address the elephant in the room first. So I really am keen on talking about combat airsoft and the event at Stanta. I want to talk about the business. I want to talk about our first engagement with them. And I want to take you through by jumping back between myself and Richie, you know, the good, the bad. And I don't want this to be a complete trashing. At the end of the day, that's probably not deserved. But I do want to talk about, you know, straight up where we saw some big fucking problems and also where we saw some places for improvement. I think to call it teething issues is a kind of surpassed understatement.
Yeah, that's a tall order, that, isn't it?
As all of you guys know, these events are expensive. They are time consuming in regards to the preparation beforehand and after, you know, the kind of de-admin of the event. And for myself and Richie, we're quite aligned in the way that we spend, you know, the week leading up to that event heavily engaged in prepping, planning for the event, laminating maps, talking to our call sign, you know, and working. So these events are by no mean feat something that happens just instantaneously. So just want to preface this that these are expensive events. So I spent about 400 quid roughly. Richie, I don't know where you're roughly at, but probably about the same, right?
Probably there or thereabouts, mate. Obviously, you're talking about, you know, for us, obviously we didn't travel, I don't think as far as some people, but we, you know, I spent probably about 85 pounds on fuel, £100 for the game event. Then you're talking probably another £200 on pyro. Don't be wrong, that is by choice. That is player's choice. You don't have to spend that, but you know, you're looking at a £200 minimum spend. That's without food, that's without water. That's just to get there and to play. That's not including the bio BBs that you had to buy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I don't run bios.
No.
I don't really care about the polar bears. They're not my favourite creature. So, you know, I don't run bios. So I therefore had to go out and purchase bios. So yeah, definitely, like you say, £400. You know, it's going to be £200, £250 minimum spend. You know, and like Tim says, we don't just go into this. We don't just throw kit in a bag, turn up. That's not how we, you know, how we roll, and that's not how you should, you know, prep for a Milsim in any way, stretch at all. You know, if you're going to Milsim, that's not what you should be doing. We're both grown adults. You know, me and Tim both, despite the rumours, we do have day jobs. You know, Tim travels a lot. I travel a lot. You know, the week before, I think both me and Tim were working away overseas. So for us, you know, you have to really, the time spent prepping for this is, you know, we have to be really careful with your time spent. So if you're not away with work, You have to spend time with family, etc., friends. You've also got the stuff you have to do around the house, whatever it is you need to do. You have to try and fit your Milsim prep in with that.
Yeah.
So, you know, so whether it's time or whether it's money, you know, the events cost both of these.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of one of the key things, right? You know, these events are time consuming. So you put a lot of effort into the prep. You know, me, I'm watching the weather. I'm trying to lead up to it. You know, I'm working out what we're going to be doing, covering the few days before. I'm trying to work on schedules of work, making sure that I can align things so that, you know, I'm not flying back Thursday night or Friday morning. Anyway, so I think just as a preface, guys, a lot of work goes into these events prior to them. And then also that means that there's a much higher expectation of the event itself because you've put a lot of work into that preparation. So I live the furthest away. So I put some gear, which worked out about the size of a 1690 Pelly. So a big Pelly, and I had a gear bag as well. So that was all my kit, bearing in mind that Richie had my Scar, and Richie had a few other bits for the event. So, you know, that's what I ended up taking. So I drive to Richie's, which is about an hour. And then Richie and myself use his vehicle to drive the remaining 2.5 hours, roughly, right?
I think sat nav was 2.5. It ended up being about 3, thereabouts, I believe, 3 hours. So yeah, bumped all the stuff into my car. You know, bounced up. Obviously, we want to get a nice bit of food before the event. So me and Tim, obviously, traditions are traditions. You know, stopped. We found a Nando's en route. You know, hot wings were the order of the day. So yeah, we had a nice little feast before we got to Stanta. So again, let's just throw that in there. That is another what? It's Nando's. Let's call it 50 quid, right?
It's 50 odd quid for us, yeah. So look, you know, there's prep there, right? We get to the event, we're driving up the main road. Luckily enough, Richie and myself have visited Stanta a couple of times between us, so we know the road in. We are approaching and we see one guy in a high vis standing in the road. So we approaching this gate. It's the main gate to the bottom or the south end of Stanta, and we slow to a halt. And then we see this geezer with his rifle, full kit, hand on the trigger, pointing his gun at Richie's vehicle. This guy is around 7 meters away from Richie's car, and we have not got onto site yet. We are still classed as being on a public road. I'm not obviously. Yeah. I'm not wearing eye privacy. I'm behind a windscreen. Neither is Richie, and we have a marshal come to the window. We are super surprised by this whole event as to what the fuck they're thinking. Like, yeah. I was half laughing and half like absolutely shocked that
I do remember. I think I literally, because so bearing in mind, anyone who's heard the shout "stand to," okay, right, will know. So the guy was sort of leant back from the fence with his gun up like this. He literally saw us approaching. He actually fucking stood to. He put his gun on the fence like this, with the finger on the trigger, like, aiming at our vehicle. And I think me and Tim, we both looked at each other, just silent. Like, is this for real? Is this guy actually like in full kit? When we're not even on site, game on isn't until 12 o'clock the following day. He's in full kit with his gun pointed at my personal property. Like, just couldn't believe it. So anyway, the marshal comes up. We went down the window, and I think the conversation went a little something like this. The marshal said to me, "Evening, lads, are you all right?" And I think my reply to him was, "I'm okay. Is he okay? Is he all right?" Like, I don't know what planet this guy was on, mate. Like, don't be wrong. He may not had a battery in the gun. It may not have even had BBs in it. But I don't know. But exactly, that's my point. You know, we didn't know that. It could well have been.
Yeah, and it was just
weird.
It felt
super
odd,
weird.
right? I mean, I would not want to, if I were planning an event, the last thing that I would want to do is greet players in that way. It just whether you're after immersion or you're after an experience or something. For me, that's just not the way that I want to treat my players, and that I would want players to be treated. So the next thing that happens is the guy who is outside of the vehicle, the marshal, lifts his glasses up. is walking away back to the gate to open the gate. He's still communicating with the guy who's pointing the gun at us, who is still pointing the gun at us. For me, at that point, I think gauging mine and Richie's sort of demeanour, I would have probably have told the guy to sort of stand down or wind it back in a bit, to which he didn't. The guys then sort of tried to kick the gate open, put one foot through the one foot through the cattle grid, and has fallen over into the cattle grid. This sounds really pernicious or just me nitpicking, but cattle grids are really fucking dangerous if you put your leg through them, because they are about this deep. So if you put your foot into one of those and you fall, you're just going to snap the bone in your leg, because they're like this wide and they're about 15 odd inches deep. It's just really dangerous and dumb and stupid, and you just should be being careful at this stage, right? And this guy's tried to be cool and looked like a bit of a tit. It just instantly put my mind into like, what these fucking guys doing. It's small things, right?
Yeah, mate. I think that was mine and Tim's exact conversation, mate. So bearing in mind, so at this point, we're trying to remain optimistic, right? We really are. We're trying to remain, after this has all just happened, me and Tim are actually, I'm actually howling like we couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard, I was coughing. I thought I was going to sick up my Nando's again. So we finally stopped laughing and we're driving on the site, and we were having the whole conversation of like, is this actually happening? Like, is this the precursor? Is this set the bar for the event? And we was like, no, come on, we're not even on site yet. Let's get on site. Blah blah blah. So we drove around, pulled up. Anyone that knows Stanta, you pull up outside the church. Sorry, just an admin building. And guys, and to be fair, the marshal was there, was spot on. He's like, mate, if you park your car there for a second, go in, sign in, and then we'll show you where you need to go and park your vehicles. Perfect, lovely. Which point we're starting to get a bit of confidence back in in the event and ourselves. So yeah, me and Tim obviously walked into the admin building. Literally walked in, done a first left, and I think the first words were, "Oh, I didn't realise you two were coming."
Who's this guy? Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Backpedal. So yeah. So then obviously we bit of confusion with the paying in. Not organisers' fault at all. I don't believe. I think it was just a miscommunication between the guy who booked our tickets for us and the guys who actually put our names down. We were under a different name. Doesn't matter. It's what it is. Paid our money. But looking around the table, there were no insurance waivers at all. Like, obviously, we'd printed ours off and filled them all out, albeit they were in the car. But no insurance waivers were asked for. What's happening, dude? No insurance waivers were asked for or mentioned. It was just like, right, yep.
I'm so used to that now. It's like, nearly, and even skirmish days, right? They're so hot on insurance now. And look, we're big boys. We've been playing for a fair while, but that doesn't exclude us from insurance policies, waivers, and capabilities to be able to, sue a company if we get injured. Now, we're not that way minded, but it just felt like we give them the money, they ticked off the list, and that was it. Now, bearing in mind, we had waivers printed and done that we'd been asked to do as part of the rule set, but we were not required to hand them over at any point. So for me, and a lot of you guys have done Sterling, right? Kev's in here, a ton of other guys, like just flicking through the list. There's a lot of people in there that have done it. You go, you sign up, you talk about the waiver, right? It's just, so instantly there was just a few little things that I kind of thought, that's slightly worrying for me. You've got 140 people on a site that you haven't used before. This is an MOD facility that has got some very dangerous parts to it. Steel metal staircases, basements that are pitch black, lumps of concrete and rebar and stuff like that is exposed in some areas. There's piles of barbed wire in the woods that could really catch someone out. Like little things, I just thought to myself, like, this is not a soft play area. So yeah, I mean, they were just the instant concerns, right?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously, for those that don't know about the event, let's just paint the picture what mine and Tim's expectations usually are for a Milsim or a 24-hour event. Now, when you book onto a 24-hour event, you are basically, there to fight or play through 24 hours. Okay, not saying you have to be awake for those 24 hours, but you have to be in game for 24 hours. So whether that's finding a nice little hidey place to catch some sleep with your iPro on, fine. That's sleeping in game with your iPro on. That's our idea of how Milsim should be. So with that picture painted, the way they'd set it up was you had choices. You could either this is for the Friday night and the Saturday night, you could either camp, so you had to bring your own tent and camp in a designated camping area, or they had some buildings with if there was enough space, you could put a deposit down and rent a cot bed, rent a space, so you could sleep in a building without iPro on, with no fear of being attacked. So that was, that's worrying for us straight off the bat. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that you can take yourself out of game and not be in the fight or being attacked. It's not very cash money, bro. So anyway, so we head up to the car park, park a car, because obviously me and Tim were planning to camp the Friday night. Obviously the plan was to find a building, occupy a building, and sleep in it on the Saturday night. Obviously it wasn't to be. Anyway, on our right hand side into a field, they said, right, that's your camp area, guys. We saw a couple of tents. I'll say a couple of tents. They were more like marquees, big sort of family, 8 manners, something Jamie Britt would turn up with. So as you walk out to the field, obviously it's not a campsite. The ground is very undulated. There's holes, there's dips, there's brambles. It's just not made for sleeping, having tents in. Me and Tim had a real tough time finding a space to put a tent up in. We did it, but it wasn't great. So that had been done. We set up for the night. Obviously we now have our THG marquee, Chateau de THG. So we set that up, got our floodlights up, got our pellet cases down, and got ourselves set for the night as to start prepping kit, etc. I think that was when the rest of the boys started to turn up, wasn't it? Because I think some of the other lads were already there before us.
Again, that site's not really meant to be used in that way. And instantly I knew where the dynamic was going to go the following day, right? Guys are going to get a bit tired. They're going to walk 100 less meters away from the site and be in the middle of a camp zone and cars. So instantly guys were, hanging out the back of their cars and so on and so forth and at their tents throughout the whole day, which really does break the dynamic of the game. And it also lessens the amount of people that are actually active on the field itself. And that was a massive issue. But anyway, so we get set up, it's a nice, fairly warm night, considering, the time of year. We get the marquee set up, we get the tent set up, we're all ready to go. We're having a bit of a gas. Other guys are arriving. Me and Richie are super keen to, get squared up, get our heads down for the night. And so that we've got kind of, a full day's worth of taskings and being active. And we're quite competitive. We were with Parky and Robson at the weekend, 2 incredible guys to be on the ground with, especially for me, really experienced players. Another set of hyper competitive lads. So if there was taskings, if there was things to be done, we were going to be all over it. That was kind of our thing for the next day.
And I mean, like I said, guys, this is not an absolute bashing, for the guys that run the event, because on the Friday night, Marshals were popping around the tents, guys that were setting up every sort of 40 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, lads, everything okay? Okay? Everything all right? For me, that was nice. Do you know what I mean? They was going and making sure everyone had everything they needed. Not saying they're tucking them into bed, but making sure no one was going without. So that, for me, that was quite nice from a marshalling point of view. So we believed, I think it was safety brief. Chrono was open from 9, I believe, or was it earlier than that?
I think it opened at 9. It felt very haphazard, and I know that a lot of people didn't chrono. And that's feedback that's come back from both sides over the last few days, is that, you know, they were not going round with everyone in a line, making sure that everyone had a zip tie on their gun, which is how they marked it after chronoing. There was no check. So if you wanted to chrono, which me and Richie did, we could go and chrono, but by no means was it required, which for me felt very, very odd.
Because they didn't have a, sorry mate, they didn't have a list, did they? Because normally they have a list of names of all the players, and once you've chronoed, that you tick off the name to say yes, he's been chronoed. Yeah, there was literally, you just turn up, cable tie, very like as you would on a Sunday skirmish, basically. And so basically, if someone would complain about you, they could check your gun. I think that's more of a case, isn't it? Just to say, if we get a complaint, we can check your gun to say you've got a cable tie.
Yeah. So someone's put in there, I think it was open from 7. Maybe so. I mean, we went down probably about 9-ish. But anyway, chrono. The next thing up is the safety brief. We walk down for the safety brief, and instantly there is some big shockers for me. Guys wearing just sunglasses. That was a bit of a cause for concern whether they were going out to play or not. But at this point in the day, it was guys standing with their weapons loaded, batteries in, so on and so forth. So even if there's an ND, the guy said to me to go back for the safety brief and make sure I've got my iPro on. And there was guys standing around in sunglasses. Some of the other things that got brought up by the guys around us was people wearing trainers. Again, both pointed out by myself and Richie. Another silly thing, right? So I had the gun in my Glock, the magazine in my Glock, and it's in a Kydex holster on my belt. I always run it that way. I didn't think too much of it. It can't be ND'd unless I get the thing out, put my finger in the trigger. But the Marshal asked me to take my magazine out of the weapon. Fine, right? So I take it out, take the magazine out, and I put it in Parky's pocket. But in him saying this, he had the magazine in his gun, in his holster, which was raised to me by Dan Tyler from Grey Fox and a few other guys. I think even Richie said, mate, he's got a magazine in his gun. It was just, I could see by the types of people that were there was going to be some issues.
There was just so many warning signs, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, we rocked up. Like as Tim mentioned, you've got guys in trainers, which is not suitable footwear. Which obviously, if something was to happen to them, that makes that the insurance null and void. Marshals being highly, hypocritical with obviously like asking Tim to take his magazine out. Fine, not a problem, but then don't stand there and call someone else out when you're doing exactly that. Not even similar. You're doing exactly the same thing. Obviously, the Marshal is stood up there. Oh, and also camos as well, different camos. So we're looking around.
Big problem.
We had a massive problem IDing. So we were, MTP, multicam, or any sort of tan camouflage, basically. So no block colours. There was also someone there we spotted that was in like a sort of like a green, I think it's Cryptek Mandrake, I think it is, the green Cryptek. So it's on the slightly greener, darker green side of multicam. If you look at this multicam, but it's slightly darker green than multicam, but it's still a multi-terrain pattern, So this guy, we was just there, and it turns out he was not actually on Op4. He was on Red Force, which he was like, with that, he's like, yeah, that's all I had. And it was that attitude that started ringing alarm bells. I'm like, so people just turn up in trainers, just turn up with whatever camo they've got. They're obviously clearly not. If they can't read the basic camo rules, what else haven't they read? Do you know what I mean? What other rules and regulations have they not read in the safety pack? So moving forward towards the end of the safety brief, the Marshal stood up on the steps, giving the safety brief, blah 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 blah. iPro must be worn at all times. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Where's his iPro?
Oh yeah, he didn't have iPro on.
He done the whole safety brief going on about iPro and blah blah blah, but he wasn't even wearing his throughout the whole safety brief. I'm like, dude, you can't blitz people about safety when you're not following the exact rules that you're implementing. So just so many things were just off key from the very, very start. Bear in mind, sorry mate, just at this point, no sections, so no teams had been sorted out. No TLs had been sorted out, no medics, no ROs, none of this, no mission briefs, nothing had been sorted out. Nothing.
I think, when we start putting this into context and guys hearing this, we are bashing hard. But I think when you look at what the expectations are of even a fixed skirmish day, right? You have all this stuff in place. So, there was guys ready at 5:30 in the morning. I'm just reading through some of the comments. Camos was a big issue. I think Carlo's on the money there, and also the level of kit that people had. Take this comment as you wish. But when you are going out onto the ground, especially like Stanta for a long period of time, and potentially to be in an urban area, facing lots of contact, it's good to have a good level of equipment with you, whether that is water, whether that is food, any type of kind of rehydration, electrolyte stuff, whatever your choice is. If you're
soft shell,
just stuff so that you could be on the ground for a long period of time. When we walked down, there was a few people. One, that stood out to me. He had a cowboy hat on, a green t-shirt, belt kit with 2 pistols on it, and loads of pistol magazines, and that is it. Nothing else. No drop leg. No backpack. No other weapon other than 2 pistols and loads of pistol magazines.
Yeah, I think he missed the memo that Jurassic Park was cancelled. I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side of that, you've got guys in full multicam, Gore-Tex trousers, Gore-Tex jacket, had a chest rig on, a HPA tank on his back, a like Spiritus clone or a Spiritus, one or two, you know what I mean? Like a small chest rig. He had 2 magazines in the front and 1 magazine in the gun that were high caps, and he was running a little stubby HPA rig. Now, again, he had no pistol, no bangs, no stuff to replenish himself. He just had a HPA gun, essentially 3 high caps and nothing else. It just, for me, made me really concerned about how well and how efficient they're going to be on the ground when they literally had nothing else. Now, kit-wise, it could fall into a much bigger discussion, but it just showed there was a big expanse in caliber of player. Then you had guys like us that were going out of day packs on. We had soft shells, bottles of water, pyro to the eyelids, as usual, loads of tags, loads of bangs, smoke, impacts. We had paper pyro, we had replenishments, I had food, water, I had a spare battery for my gun, like all the usual stuff I take on the ground with me, I had. It just showed a big contrast in players.
I think even if you park that for 1 minute, okay. So if you park the pyro, the magazines, your fighting equipment, let's park that, right? Okay, because let's say some people don't want to use pyro. For instance, in a Fibia environment, someone doesn't want to use pyro. I mean, they're actually lunatics, but let's say that, okay.
Yeah.
But that, like you said, it's not about the kit. So it's not about the fighting equipment. It's about the preparedness for the day. So weeks leading up to the event, me and Tim are watching the weather reports. Even right up to the morning, we're watching the weather, seeing what it's doing. So, and I think Jay put in the chat the fact that there were guys there. Obviously, means it was a beautiful, like sunny, quite a warm day. The weather was belting. So we had. I think I even stripped my field shirt off. So I had a t-shirt on, then a field shirt, and just my claw gear Raiders. And a lot of guys were just running trousers and a U-backs. Fine. You really, with the amount you were moving, you didn't need anything else. And I think, like Jay put in there, and you said, there's guys in full Gore-Tex, there's guys with gaiters, like
geese with waders, like the thigh-high gaiters on.
It was like dry. It was dry. The sun was shining. There was no wind. It was a lovely day. And I think you guys are going to cause more problems by wearing this kit for yourselves, like not just through noise and being not being able to move quickly and efficiently, but just you're going to sweat out. You're going to sweat out. You're going to make your waterproof kit wet, and it's just going to
So I think Carlo's right. He says that you can't blame the organiser for who books on. You definitely can't, but you can be very stringent on the day to make sure that you are going around checking what type of equipment the guys are taking out on the ground and just giving them as much advice as possible. For example, say that this guy had never done a Milsim before, and that's what he thought Milsim kit was. Then they should be on the educational hand of going around and speaking to people like that and saying, look, you're going to be on the ground for a long period of time. You know, 3 pistol mags probably not going to suffice you very well if you get into an hour-long firefight stuck in a compound surrounded by enemy. You know, are you going to be someone that is a strength to the team, or are you going to be, you know, a weakness to the team? Yeah. And I think that's sometimes how event providers kind of slope off and go, well, we have no control over the people. When you look at other Milsim event providers, they're actually a lot more controlling over their audience, and they will go out and highlight people and say, look, you know, I don't think you guys are either taking it serious enough, or, you know, you're severely underprepared and you're probably not going to enjoy yourself as much. Because, for example, that geezer's in a building or in a compound and gets clipped up, which he did by myself, he lost his shit, probably because he's running around with pistols, you know. And so, you know, you definitely can't control who books on, but you can definitely be informative, and you can definitely be a little bit more stringent when the players are there. So, I mean, again, it's players, right? There was a lot bigger problems than what people were wearing. So like Richie said, sorry, mate, we bumped down to the other end of the site after the safety briefing. We could see that it was going to be a bit of a shambles. We had guys that had no comms at all. You had other teams like us and others, like the Grey Fox lads and some other teams that were there, all commsed up, packs on, ready to go. Other guys down there, no comms, you know, running a variety of different kit, you know, that probably wasn't going to suffice if any bad weather did come in. The organisation then from the staff was to pull all the team leads over and say that we are going to go into the base of the village and start clearing our way through some buildings. The idea being to keep an eye out for a HVT that we knew really no detail about, and to keep an eye out for IEDs. And I'll talk about the IED piece a little bit further on.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, I think we were just chatting to, it was the event organizer we were chatting to, wasn't it, Tim, about moving into the village?
Yeah.
So obviously the idea was to move, you know, into the village through the sort of, I think it was the southwest side, push in and push up to a certain building number. Now there were about 6 other buildings en route to this, to the target building.
Yeah.
So we started throwing some ideas about, okay, well, how about one section obviously clear the left hand side, far left, one section clear the far right hand side, and we'll just, you know, push up, cordon around the building, next team go in, clear the building, then that perimeter, the clearance team will then come out, provide the cordon for the next building, and
we bounce on.
We put this to the guy, and he was like, no, we want you to go straight up the middle, straight down the street. I said, what, actually walking down the middle of the street? Like straight through the middle of the street? He's like, yeah. So, but you want us to clear the compounds on the way? No, forget about them, just straight to it. I was like, I've never heard anything like it in my life. Now, fast forward towards the end of the event, we spoke to a Marshal about this, and he did say, well, that was to put in some set pieces, you know, we had some IDs and some stuff set up for you. I was like, that's fine, mate. I totally get that. You have to have certain set pieces, you know, we wanted to give you guys a bit of a show, a bit of immersion. I was like, absolutely, mate. Like, I'm down for that. Absolutely. That's why we do Milsim, military simulation. But at least, I don't know, man. Just try and not make it so obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's been to Stanta, if you get told to run up IED alley, you're not going to do it. There is balconies, doorways, angles, cuts, all over the place. It's one of the hardest places to clear, even on the best of days. So anyway, we jump into some compounds and we are right at the front of the fight. So we push on about 2 buildings, and this is when, you know, we definitely started seeing some issues, right? So as I say, the cowboy hat dude is standing in the compound over from the compound from ours. So they are roughly 15 meters apart, say at a max. So the windows are shut, and we were told not to open the windows unless they were going to stay open. So at this point, we kept the windows shut, and I kicked the door open and steamed out onto the balcony, put some rounds into this dude and the guy over, and then I hit the deck. The guy has lost his shit. And I was like, you know, you're standing in the open, you've got enemy coming, like you're just standing there gassing. Honestly, what do you expect? We had literally a frontline firefight for about an hour with all of us at the front. And I can quite honestly say, I think we probably as a team took about 3 casualties. We were using good angles when windows were completely open. Yeah, we were like in the back of the room. We were shooting through loopholes. We were cutting really tight angles so that rounds that were coming in were deflecting off the back of the building. And that was pretty much it. I said this in the write-up, we really did seem to be putting some people down. Regardless of the kind of ego stuff that we had thrown at us and the non-hit taking us other shit, we did really seem to be pushing the enemy back quite significantly at this point. And that just wasn't just me, that was the other parts of our section as well. But we definitely steamed into the first 5-6 buildings, got the police station within probably 20 minutes, and we held it for a good few hours.
Yeah. Well, just before that though, mate, obviously we were, we did struggle to take the first 2 because obviously as we got to the first 2 buildings, there were guys literally on the second building as you enter the site, literally like already there putting rounds on us. Like, so there was no chance to get actually into the village. Anyway, a bit of a struggle, pushed on. And yeah, Jay's there. I'll just get into that bit. So we were pushing down the outside of the compound. So basically, you imagine building upon building like this, and you've got like the little roadway in between the buildings. So you come down, you can go that way, go down, go that way. So we're pushing down. It's very linear. So we're fighting like basically like this down the side of a building. So then guys started to basically come wide. I think it was me, Tim, and a few others went wide.
Round the hedges.
Round the hedges, get a bit of a better angle. It's at this point, me and casualties taken on both sides. We're pushing up, giving and taking a bit of ground. Me and Tim and a couple of guys have pushed up to this little hedgerow. Basically, the hedges are thin at the bottom, and then they bush out like that. So the guys that are up at sort of standing level, they can only see the bush, whereas we're on our belt buckles in the gap looking up, so we can see them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we sort of crawling forward, and we got eyes on basically a corner of a compound. And this guy keeps stepping out, putting rounds basically along the compound wall. So he's looking down this wall, whereas obviously me and Tim are over that way. So he's looking straight, not to the right. Anyway, I wait for him to, as he steps out, I think, whack, 5, 6, 7 shots. The guy next to me, I think it was Brad, done exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm talking, we are 20 meters, 25 meters away.
If that.
25 meters, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen the rounds, all of my rounds come off his plate carrier here. I think Brad clocked him on this shoulder here and sort of sent the mass in here. The guy did no fucking more than just step back. I think even on skirmish days, I've never seen such a worst case of hit taking in all my life.
Yeah.
Ever.
Apart from Alex. Ever. Alex at night.
Yeah.
Covering his face being shot.
So at which point I've then, because I've got put some rounds down, I've then got hit. I think I stood up and screamed at Tim, 13 minutes! 13 fucking minutes! We were 13 minutes. We were 13 minutes into a Milsim, and guys were already not taking that level of hits.
Yeah,
it's that kind of cheating. Okay, and I'm gonna address the elephant in the room here. You'd expect that level of cheating to happen on a Sunday at like an hour from Index. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or on a Sunday skirmish. This was 13 minutes into the Milsim, at which point I was like, mate, I'm out. I was hit anyway, but I had to go back and sit out for about sort of 10, 15 minutes because just couldn't believe it. Actually couldn't believe it. And in all fairness, I called the Marshal over. I said, mate, could you please have a word with that guy? So I explained. He said, what did he look like? What was he wearing? Explained to him. He said, yeah, no worries, mate, I'll go and have a word. So obviously I went off, and that was the end of that. But yeah, I think obviously then that's at which point these guys pushed up and took the police station.
Yeah, so there's a few comments. It says Op 4's instructions at the beginning was to start in building 5, then fall back to building 11, where we never got told to go anywhere near the police station until about 7 p.m. that night. I think the idea being is that we were to push up, essentially into enemy territory where you guys had held buildings. That's what I think. Also, I think at this point when we were pushing up the middle of the street, our player Marshal, you know, like our team captain, me and Richie put some tag rounds up onto the balconies, and they both airbursted. I was really surprised that the guys didn't, one, shit themselves because they went off about a metre or so above the guy's head.
Yeah.
And two, not take the hit. Our player Marshal actually had to walk up ID Alley and call the guys down off of the balconies. You know, there was already some kind of pretty horrific standards of play, which was a bit upsetting more than anything because it was so early into the game. There was a couple of things that I've seen mentioned as well. At this point in the day, there was already enough complaints for us to have a full-time Marshal posted with our team. The whole team was being classed as the Heresy Group, which later turned out to be anyone that was in multicam, right? Lots of people said, oh, yeah, I was engaging the Heresy Group at this building and that building and in this place. There was, you know, it ended up being something that people were just throwing out there. And so there were some complaints made, and we had a Marshal posted with us for the remainder of the event, essentially. That day, I didn't go into any building or in any shooting position where we didn't have a Marshal within 5-6 meters of us.
Yep.
So any kind of concerns with hit taking, with respectable play, standards of play, or full auto and all that sort of thing, we literally had someone on top of us the whole time. And I can quite honestly say I saw just commendable play. Now, yes, it is easy for me to say that, but genuinely, people were being hit, including myself and others. They were being medicked or they were going back to regen if they'd been hit, you know, more than once.
Because I think you know, we was in the building basically overlooking ID Alley. We had a bead straight down ID Alley, and as it goes down, obviously as you look further down, the building sort of as it's uphill, they sort of escalate like this.
Yeah.
So the guys that were sort of taking cover in an alleyway thought they were in cover because they're a little bit high. You could actually get the rounds on top of them. So, and again, this isn't from a big-headed point of view, but everyone knows both mine and Tim's guns are like upgraded by camo to the absolute max. So when our red dots or our crosshairs are on something, it's gonna hit it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It will hit the target.
Yeah.
Now, when I say I don't know. I don't really want to throw a figure out there of how many times, you know, we would kill an opposing player to how many times we got hit. But I think it just generally, and this isn't elitism for anyone jumps on the bandwagon. It just, the guys weren't used to playing at this level. They weren't used to playing in this environment. So guys were just stood out in the open, and stood back like you'd find them sort of like they would move across the window, across the doorway, and sort of just stand there, you know, having like an arm exposed or something. And it's just enough, you know. With me and Tim, you don't need a lot, you know. And people were getting clipped like a lot. How many times did we get called to a window or a balcony? Go, oh lads, I can't quite get the range on this. You'll have your guns. Sure enough, mate. 3 rounds,
mate.
Float in. Pop.
Yeah, we. You know, I wrote this at the bottom of the statement because I wanted it to be really clear. There's no way that we were I'm going to sit there and say, yeah, we shied away from the action. You know, we were at the back. We weren't. We were bang at the front. No. We were putting bodies down. I think there were a lot of guys that were not used to playing in a very urban environment. Also, if you've played at Stanta a lot, you know the place. You know the little avenues. You know where people cut across. You know the little concrete mound at the start of ID Alley where someone's always going to lay down and try and put their head out. You know, we've been there before. We know a lot of the angles. There's a little bike shack in one of the compounds, and behind it is an alleyway. Now that alleyway slopes upwards. It's like the wall's flat, but the ground slopes up like that. So people at one end look up, go, yeah, that covers me, and they start walking along. As it comes up, you see the top of the head or the face just begin to brim the top of the wall. So if you put your crosshair like halfway down and a little bit low, just with the lift of the BB, people start walking down there and then they get clapped in the top of the head. Yeah. I was with Parky, I think. Parky was on the right-hand side of a window and I was on the left-hand side, and we were just bodying in that alley, and they just couldn't work out where the rounds were coming from. It just
I think this is the thing, mate. Is obviously we had a Marshal with us in that building I think I was at the window here. I think Tim was to my right. You had a doorway, and then the marshal stood there like that, watching all three of us like this.
Yeah.
And I think I took a round. It was off the gun and then the knuckle. Yeah, fine, whatever. Shit, you know, it is what it is. Got ducked down, got dragged down 2 steps, put the medic bandage on, back in. Maybe a minute later, me and this guy was engaging through the bike shed, and I don't feel sorry in the slightest because he literally poked his head out like this. He went like that, just put his eyebrow open, and it went whack. You see his head go back. I was like, oh shit! And then literally, as I hit him, his mate caught me on the cheek. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had the first one with the medic bandage, second one I took in the face. And the marshal stood right there, and literally, I was hit out, nice shot, mate. Off we go. I physically had to walk past the marshal with my hand up to go back to regen. So all these people that going, oh yeah, the Heresy Group, they weren't taking the hits, this, that, but we had a marshal with us. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
yeah, the whole time
you can't argue with that. You just can't.
No. So
and I think even accusations of like climbing through windows and stuff came up. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you seen the got windows? You can't.
Yeah, I can't unless Parky picks me up, which he does, just like and sits me on a window ledge. No, but being serious, we had people climb through windows attacking us, but we didn't do it the other way around. So this is another thing, right? And so I don't want to bring sort of Sterling into this, but they have a policy that their marshals should not be noticed all weekend until something goes wrong. Like, you shouldn't notice a marshal's there. They are just there to observe and be out of the way. And a lot of them are educated enough and been around the block long enough to stay out of the way of events. And they're just overseeing. They're not there to be in the way.
Yeah.
So I come through a door. There's a marshal to my right-hand side. I walk straight past him. And in the doorway, going into the next room, is someone from another team. And he is sat on the floor with his legs across the doorway, blocking the doorway. And then we had one of our team members taking a knee by his legs. So it completely blocked the entry and the exit of that building. So my exact words were, get the fuck out of the way, not to the opposite player, but to our player, so I could just step over the guy's legs. It wasn't meant in any kind of maliciousness at all, just the way I said it. Just like, get the fuck out of the way. Right?
Tim just swears a lot.
I just swear a lot, yeah. So, the marshals, whoa, tone it down, mate. Just keep the language to a minimum, yeah? And I was like, all right, mate, cool. I said, well, I was just telling him to get out of the way. Yeah, well, there's been some complaints, so just keep the language right down. I said, mate, what, is there a load of kids running about here, is there? It did jar me. I was just like, fuck, do you know what, mate? Just, if you're here to watch us be hit and make sure we're taking our hits, do that. Don't get in the way. Don't say anything. Just anyway. It just started this antagonistic attitude from the marshals. It felt like he was saying it to say, I'm a marshal and I'm telling you not to swear. That's what it felt like. It felt like a very authoritarian view.
It's an over 18s event, mate. Like, if you don't, okay, don't wrong, people may not like swearing. They may not like it. It's fine. It's an over 18s event. If you don't, haven't heard a few curse words by the time you're 18,
knock about with me for a weekend. I'll feel your life in.
It'll set you straight, mate. But yeah, again, I think it just comes down to people getting, and this must have been, I'm going to say time check's going to be around about 3:30 at this point. So you're fighting for about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And I'm going to say that people were getting really, really salty. Like, so by 4 o'clock, I must have done 2 boxes of tags. And it just comes down to it's not about having better equipment. It's about knowing how to use the equipment. So like Tim says, down ID Alley, there were low walls and there were high walls, as it goes down.
Yeah.
Now, there was alleyways full of these guys coming in from, either side like this, down ID Alley, popping out. Because we got the elevated position, I saw about 4 guys down this alleyway. And the wall was ducking down around the side of this wall. But they had a big flat wall of this building behind them. Just swapped out the time, put an impact in. I must have put it like this far above the wall, above the head. Bang! This thing went off. I think I counted 1 guy walk out of that alleyway out of 4.
Yeah.
And you just think, like, that's £8 or whatever it is, you know, for a tag round. Don't get me wrong, I got a kill out of it, but you just think, why are the guys? It felt for the whole day and however long we were doing it, it felt like the bangs had to be at their feet, had to be you know, 6 inches from them for them to take it. I think me and Brad was on a balcony, no, in a building at a window. There was a guy by the ruins. Same thing. I put this tag round in. Everyone knows I'm pretty surgical with these things, and there was a guy sort of stood by the ruins with a guy knelt next to him. The tag round went off at his feet, literally at his feet, with a Marshal there. And the guy, fair enough, took it. But the guy that was stood next to him, that was knelt down next to him, just went to crack on. And I think I actually had to shout to the Marshal to say to the Marshal, "Is that second guy not going to take that? It's a 10-meter radius for a grenade kill." And the Marshal had to go over there and pull him out. But it's just stuff like that. You shouldn't have, at this, when you call it a Milsim, you shouldn't have to be doing this. You shouldn't have to ask guys to, you know, call in the hits, etc.
So
yes.
I just wanted to, if I can show you guys this map. This is the map of Stanta. And so at this point, we've worked ourselves round from, just so you guys got a bit of a rough idea, round from sort of the 1 area. We've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're at 8. So as you can see, the shape of 8 is like a Z. And you can use the front part of the balcony, so the top part of the Z, to shoot essentially 10, 9, 11, 13, 12, and 14. As you can see, that is 100 meters, right? So that's what the 2 blocks are. So you're looking 50 meters between the balcony of 8 to the back of 12. There's a lot of myths, rumors, you know, guys saying what their guns will shoot. But if you look at the radius of, say, a 60-meter gun, you can shoot from this balcony to 17, to 35, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and potentially, if you've got some legs, to 17 and 15. That is a large radius of fire. That's out to about 70 meters, right? So we'd pushed round the bottom again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you guys can get a bit of a picture of how tight this environment is. On the back balcony of 8, the bottom of the Z, if you were there, you are covered from 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, this higher area, because the front of the Z covers it. So you're completely unable to be shot at. What that meant for us is that it was very easy to exfil. As you can see, the gate is on the back of 8, so where the little white notch is. So if you got shot, you can come straight down, out of 8, round 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and to the admin area below. It was very, very easy if that's what you needed to do. So you could get in and get out very, very quickly. And I just wanted you guys to sort of see how tight this map is, so that you can see sort of how easy it is to really engage. So as I say, when we came into this building, the guy with the cowboy hat was in the compound of 10. So I came out, and if you look even at, you can work it out yourselves, it's about 15 meters, 10 meters.
Yeah, pretty close.
In the open there, and then complained about being shot, right? So this is a very, very dense area. I think someone mentioned it earlier about, you know, just how small Stanta is. It makes for very exciting, very, very fun events. I think one of the times I got shot was from 13 or 14. You know, it's such a cut. There's lots of angles, lots of buildings, lots of windows, lots of doorways, everything. It was a wicked shot.
But it's an even smaller site if you cut half of it off so that you can't use it. Yes,
exactly. So, you know, the marshalling for me was a real big issue. Even from this point, right? Even from this point, you know, we have got someone posted with us. It felt uncomfortable. I said this to Jack, and I said this to a lot of the guys before, John from Gravy Seals and the rest of them. They said to me, "How are you getting on?" I said, "Do you know what? It feels like we've got someone up our arse. Like that's how it felt. It was like, I can't describe it. It's like, you know, just having this kind of overarching feeling all the time that someone is just stood there in the corner like that, watching what you're doing.
Just waiting for that one.
Yeah, that one. And like, yes, you know, we all make mistakes. I mean, look, I play as clean as I can, right? We have a reputation, whether that be good or bad, but we have one to uphold. We're a very easy target. You know, we're out playing events. You know, we're out there a lot. We put ourselves out there on social media. A lot of the other guys in the chat are going to understand this. It's very easy to go, oh, it's those guys, right? But we do try and play to the best standard that we can. You know, we're both long-standing Sterling players, and you can't kick around that scene for as long as we have and be a bad player, because it just gets highlighted.
Because the Milsim scene is you know,
Tiny.
The skirmish scene is huge. Anyone can go skirmish. I don't mean that anyone goes skirmish, but there's far more skirmishers that go out on a Sunday. Okay, the Milsim scene, and when I say that, I mean the real Milsim scene, is tiny, tiny, tiny. Everyone knows everyone. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, you know, if you're good, you're good. If you fuck up, you're out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get binned by everyone.
Yeah.
But again, just quickly going back, I think it was FD 1991 put in there, made a good point that, you know, we're saying about blitzing off tag rounds. I've done 2 boxes of tags. We've got our guns tricked out, doing this, doing that. It all sounds Gucci. It all sounds amazing. Okay. But me and Tim aren't lottery winners. You know, we have to go to work to earn the money to get this stuff. You know, like, and the trips to and from Camo Rage, you know, the guys do amazing work and they really do pull out all the stops for us. But you know, we still have to pay a bill at the end of the day. You know, tag rounds, they all cost money. So when you put that shot in, that one long shot, that 75-meter shot through a window, and the guy chooses not to take it, or you put 2 tag rounds in because, you know, the first one they didn't take it, and then you have to have Marshal to get him to take the second one. It does get frustrating, and we just want to sort of, let's put it out there that, you know, we're not these superheroes that have got an, you know, like Scrooge McDuck that has this tower of coins. Do you know what I mean? That we swim in, you know. Whoop, whoop, you know, it's the you know, we do have to if you listen very carefully, his swim's not making any noise because they're £50 notes.
Yeah. It's all notes.
Yeah, but you know, it is frustrating, you know, not just, you know, for us as well. It isn't just, you know, all of you guys. When people don't take the hits, it is very frustrating because, like I say, you spend a lot of time getting the guns tricked out, getting money on pyro, you know, for people just to go, yeah, I'm not taking that. Very, very frustrating. But yeah, I mean, again, so another thing that they basically closed half of the site off.
Yeah.
You know, as an admin stroke sleeping area, if I'm correct.
Yeah. So just to guys, I mean, it's really hard when we talk about building numbers.
Basically the south. So building 43. If you look at that in the sort of the middle south of the site, building 43.
It's the one with the black line outside it.
So that is always an admin area. A lot at any time we've been there, which is fine. That's out of bounds. But it's normally just that little fence, that black perimeter around it. That's normally the only one out of bounds.
Yeah.
So the 4 perimeter buildings around that, I think it's 41,
41, 2, 44, and 45.
45. All of those were at play to allow people to sleep overnight. So if you wanted to go southwest or northeast along that lower road, if you wanted to pass that, you had to take your mag out your gun, clear your weapon, walk through, put your mag in the other side. Now, not saying you can't do that, which you can, but tell me that's tell me that if that's not the opposite of Milsim. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, it ruins the flow, right?
It just stagnates play, creates choke points. Yeah, it turns the place. And sure enough, mate, I think, what was it? Time check, 4 o'clock, 4:30. We were obviously up at buildings 10, 11, 12, was it? I think.
Yeah. So we were up here.
Yeah, and at that point, by 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. That's where people have been fighting backwards and forwards through the day, and those buildings along ID Alley, that was where it had come to a head, where because let's face it, a lot of the guys aren't used to playing this environment, aren't used to playing Milsims this hard. A lot of guys weren't pushing up, you know, they were just stood behind buildings. This is on our team, not an op for. This is on our team, you know, not really wanting to get out there and push. Do you know what I mean? I think us, Grey Fox, and maybe a couple of other lads were the only ones that pushed. And so at that point, it just came to a head. No one was gaining ground. No one was losing ground.
Yeah.
It just became a BB slinging contest.
Yeah. It's then a land grab, right?
There were no objectives. There was nothing to really say, okay, guys, they weren't thinking, let's mix it up. Let's put another objective over here. It was just like say a land grab.
So I think it's worth mentioning at this point as well. This is another kind of bad move from the organisers, is that you can see when things are beginning to stagnate. As players, you notice it. As marshals, you probably notice it even more. Lack of movement, lack of enthusiasm. Guys, strolling back and forth with their guns dragging on the ground. It was really beginning to stagnate. At that point, that is when you start introducing things like IEDs. You start bringing in role play, and you also start bringing in vehicles, right? So I see a Marshal in a high-vis striking Mark 5s and throwing them over the wall close to a team behind. And then he struck one and threw it up on a balcony. Now, our posted Marshal that was sat with us the whole time said to him, "What the fuck's that about?" He said, "Well, it's from..." No, he said, "Yeah, it's just for immersion, mate." I said, "Well, what if that goes onto a balcony and people die? Like, are they dead? Is it, just an immersive bang? Or like, what is the point of that? Like, what are you trying to do?" Now, this was their IEDs. Marshals having a chest plate full of, bangs and throwing them all over the place. Another time that this really gripped me was John's in here. John was and Jut and a load of guys were sneaking round on the dead ground. It's like overgrown grassland. And I was pitched up on a corner. I was shooting lefty. I was super tight in. Literally, the barrel and the razor was sticking out of the wall and fuck all else. I was tight on the back of the gun. They peeled out, put some rounds on John and Jut, and had a bit of a tear with those guys. Dropped a fair few of them. And John was taking a knee, and a geezer's crawling up to him on all fours, trying to medic him back in. And I put some rounds out, and I knew that I might have clipped John a few times. And you don't want to shoot dead players,
No.
but it was tough, right? It was a tough scenario. The Marshal is watching all of this. So my Marshal that was posted to me is literally a foot behind me. To be the point, I could feel him right behind me, right? So it just fucking made me uncomfortable again. So put these rounds down. Jut has then started peeling out to cover the guy that was shooting John. I've shot Jut, and Jut's got like a stream of guys essentially hiding behind him. Jut's gone to be the front man. He's a wide lad, right? He's a boy. He's a thick set dude. And these guys are essentially stacked up behind him. So he's sort of cannon fodder. So put some more rounds in, and I've just shouted, "Sorry, Jut." I knew he was going to cop some rounds. I haven't known him that long, but he's a really nice guy, and I don't want to think I was taking the piss. John had already called that it was me on the corner. He said, "That's Tim. Let's fucking have him up." So I apologised to Jut. At this point, the Marshal went, "No, mate, don't fucking apologise to him. We're not here for that." It's another just such small-minded approach. Yes, we're playing to be enemies. I totally get it. I totally appreciate that. But there is a little bit of courtesy when some rounds are going to maybe hit someone, that I would just shout out, like, "Sorry, mate, you've got people all behind you. I'm just putting rounds down."
I think I did it multiple times that weekend. You quickly you bounce up on top of above a balcony edge. You've already clipped one guy there. Guys coming to medic him. You come up and you hit the guy again by accident. First, or someone's already dead. You pie corner, instantly is whack, get around off.
Yeah.
First thing, "Sorry, mate," before they lose their shit. "Sorry, mate, I didn't realise you're already dead." It's manners. It's manners. It's courteous. Do you know what I mean? It costs nothing. And to be honest with you, I found that in all the years I've been playing, just a sorry or anything like that, just good manners, it just quells everyone's temper and attitude. Otherwise, if you just went whack, hit someone that's already dead and then bolted, that guy's probably a little bit pissed off, because he might have thought you'd done it on purpose. I don't know, it's just manners cost nothing, mate. Really, and to turn around and tell you not to do it, like, what's the point? What is the point?
It just felt muggy, mate. It just like he was trying to just blast the fucking message in my ear. So anyway, we've had our engagement. There's me and Brad left up the front. We end up getting flanked from the right side, and we go down. And so I'm walking back to the regen, a little bit faded. I've had these interactions with the staff. The caliber of player, not just from kit perspective. So this isn't just about kit, but the actual caliber of player. Got to a point where I just had sort of had enough. I loved playing against John. I love playing against Jut. I like going up against those guys. They're fucking, good lads. But some of the other things that I was seeing hit taking wise, lent over the top of the wall. Me and Parky, they're putting rounds on this lad. We've clapped him in the head. On this back wall, like I said, he's got his head over. He's looked over. He's took a load of rounds to the head. Seen him fucking holding his head, gone down. He's shouting and moaning. He's walked to the end of the alleyway that I can still see to, right? This is only 6-7 meters extra. They're really close at this point. He's like, mate, that lad's back in. I was like, no, he ain't. He's like, he is. He's back in. So I was like, mate, just light him up. So me and Parky have leant out. He started walking down with his gun up again, and we've just drilled him with a load of rounds. No medic bandage, nothing. He's walked to the end of the alleyway, cut down, and then walked straight back in again. It just got frustrating. Now, I know that the blue guys and the red guys were frustrated by people doing this. I can quite hands on my heart honestly say I played to my most honest capability that weekend, but I saw some horrendous hit taking. And I think, so I don't know who it is. I think it might have been Carlo or Offset. Someone said, attitude is so important. Like I say, me and Richie have been kicking about for a long time. This scene is very small. I know a few people have mentioned it. If you're a dickhead player, it comes out real quick. Yeah. And we've been, that's the last thing that gets said about us. We're polite players. We take our hits. We're there to have a tear up, and have some fun. But when it gets to that level, I was getting frustrated to fuck.
But people often confuse, aggressive play, right, and just being better than someone else, right?
Yeah.
As being rude and cheating. No, we're just aggressive and better than you. That's it. But it is like not all the time, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of people, when they get bested, don't like it. If you're of the right mindset, okay, you could be at a skirmish game, you can be at a Milsim, it doesn't matter where you play. If you get bested by someone, you should be annoyed at yourself. You should go away and go, mate, I can't believe I messed up. I need to fix that. But just going off the back of you saying, like I said earlier on, I screamed at you. I was like, 13 minutes. And the worst hit taker that I'd ever seen at a Milsim in my entire life. On the flip side of that, mate, apart from the night time, on the flip side of that, mate, there were some guys during the day that were on the opposite team that was spot on. I think there was a couple of lads that was with Jut, again, coming down that outside edge. Again, lefty, having a bit of exchange. And it was a long shot as well, mate. One round, I think it went in over a bush even. Yep, hit fucking straight on. And then there was another guy sniping. It's like not a full ghillie suit, but like a half ghillie. I think he had a bearded guy.
Might have been Cam Man.
Me and him having a bit of an exchange. I was on the balcony. He clocked me and lined me up, and I kept sort of flipping out on the side of the balcony. He kept sort of peeking.
Yeah, nice.
And he must have been 55, 60 meters. Just went one round, mate. And literally, as I peeked the second time, he had his hand up, just put his thumb up. I was like, do you know what, mate? Nice. Good for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not all doom and gloom, guys. It's just a shame because we bang on about how bad it was, but the good guys that took the hits were good.
Yeah.
But the bad guys that didn't take the hits were fucking awful.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's, as always, mate, it's the bad guys that that ruin it for everyone.
That ruin it. So at this point, guys, we've had a bit of a tough morning. I was buzzing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I let the Marshal thing get to me until I went and sat and had a chat with John and Jut and everyone. And I sat with Richie and the rest of our lads, Parky, Robson, Brad, and Jay. We all sat down together and I said, what's that fucking Marshal thing about? And we all questioned it. It felt odd for all of us, and it felt uncomfortable. I've never been at a Milsim event or any event where we've had someone sat so close to us. I wouldn't be bothered about him being in the room. I couldn't give a shit if he was just there to watch how I played. and to see how, what my integrity was like. That's cool. It just dampened my weekend. So, there was definitely some issues. There was big issues with keeping the momentum going. There was issues with the Marshals and the way that they were behaving, not just with us, but with other people as well. Any of you guys, want to kick it after the stream, head over to Facebook. There's some stuff that's been posted on there. There's some other comments from other people. You'll see that it wasn't just the THG group hating on the event. There was a lot of people that were very unhappy with it. So we do our normal thing, right? We go back, get into my pit. I have about 30 minutes sleep. Get nice and comfy. I wake up to a nice coffee, sit with the boys, get ready for the nighttime events. Now, the weirdest thing about this was the fact that you could use an IR illuminator on your device, but you couldn't use an IR torch and you couldn't use an IR laser. So at this point, I didn't even put batteries in my pec. I had my IR torch on my gun, but it's also a white light. So I left the white light on. It's always handy just in case someone gets injured. And then I was using the IR device on my night vision if we were anywhere really, really dark. We creep out of the building. I'll just pull the map back up again, and then I will let Richie sort of talk you into what we did. But we infield all the way around the outside, and we ended up in 29. Is that correct?
But in between 22,
it's the one on the crossroad, wasn't it?
It's in green. I can't see it, but it's in between 22 and 24. So basically, that is
49.
Is it 49? So in between 22 and 24. So we've got six guys. Okay, so bearing in mind 6 guys silently round the entire site. Okay, without firing a single round, without taking a single round. So that building, anyone that's been to Copil, Seni, any of those sort of sites, know that it's an Eastern European style fibula building. So it's, tall, 3 stories, lots of windows, very sort of German-esque, do you know what I mean? So we've come around the backside of that. And as we come around the backside heading southwest, I think Robson clocked a group of 3 guys there. He's like, right, we all have to pie this corner and we've each got to pick a target and just go for it. So bearing in mind, the guys are sort of staggered, sort of like this, sort of like that, I'm going to say. So the ones at the back weren't quite clear. So like Tim says, no lasers, no illuminators. So I think both me and Tim, we were actually put the reticle on our red dots on its lowest setting, and you could actually line it up. It took a bit of sort of moving.
It's a bit tough. Right?
It's a bit tricky to get it to line up, but you get it lined up with the red dot. Bearing in mind, we was there for what? 8 seconds, as we've all sort of tiptoed round. 8 seconds, got it lined up. Whack. And I'm talking, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots each. 4 shots each, maybe.
Tough. No, I don't even think that. I think
even
it's a little blip for me. Yeah.
These guys lost their fucking mind. Like, whoa, all right. Like you're stood there on an airsoft game at a Milsim, okay, that's 24 hours. When you get shot, don't complain that you're shot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've turned up to get shot or shoot someone. Anyway, so we've pushed off from them because at this point, game's afoot. We've put rounds down, people taking the hits. We've got to get duck into that building pretty quick. Yeah. Straight in, up.
Start clearing rooms.
I don't think we even deployed a single bang, did we? It's all done through.
No, it's all done.
Longs and sidearms.
Yeah. It was really clean, and it was a lot of work. So we put some, we've killed some people. We are in this building, and before you know it, the Marshals have sort of heard dead players in the area. They have come over to the building we're in, and one of them is wearing a red flashing bike light on his head, one on his chest, and one on his back. As I said in my write-up, if any of you guys read the write-up, I mean, this is fucking ridiculous, right? So, I said to the guy, look, we're trying to be fucking sneaky here. You stood in the doorway. It's blatant. It's blatant at this point. There was no need for it. There was no need for them to be so, I guess, one-sided against what we were doing. We'd snuck round. We'd used the nods. We'd used the landscape. We'd gone into the building. We'd started dropping people. Our idea was to have a foothold deep in enemy territory and have a proper tear up. That's what we wanted. That's what we were there for, right? Now, luckily, on the way through, we found many objectives. We actually found the HVT. We were doing the work as well, but we wanted to be in a position where we could have a good tear up. The Marshal comes, sorry, mate, the Marshal comes through into the room I'm in. I said to him, I've got my nods on, right? So 3 flashing red bike lights are going off. I said to him, mate, could you just cover that light on your chest? He's like, sorry, mate, I'm a Marshal. I need to have these on. I said, look, appreciate that. Could you just leave this room then? Because like you're going to cast shadows all over the room, giving me away. But also I'm trying to look out into the back open plane to stop us getting a team approaching from the rear, right? I'm covering the rear of the back of the arc of the building. And he's gone, no, mate, no, I'll stand in the hallway. There's no doors on any of the door openings. It's like saying, all right, mate, I'm going to stand a foot away from you or 3 foot away from you. It made no difference. And it was just completely unnecessary, poor standard of marshalling, poor understandability from the fact that we have all paid money to be there. And just the attitude from the guys was just shit. It was just shit.
We'll touch on this a bit later when we get to it, but obviously just try and, guys, remember the fact that how tight the Marshals were to us, okay, throughout this whole event, through the night time. Like I say, he didn't have to be there. He could have ducked next door, listened out, because it's pitch black, they can't really see anything. They don't have nods. So they just had to step off just half a foot or into the corridor, into the next room, So that being said, Tim's up in the first floor. He's overlooking the rear. I'm actually still out on the perimeter, so I'm last guy. So I'm tailing Charlie. I'm sort of slowly working my way around the perimeter to the front door to be the last guy in. Come around the side of the compound, and there's like a team of 5, 6, I think.
Yeah,
maybe. All in a line coming down. Me and Tim have seen them. I've just lined a reticle up, and it wasn't timed. It wasn't on comms. It's like we've got a sixth sense. As I've opened up, semi-auto, Tim's opened up semi-auto. Wait, because there's 5, 6 people. We need to make sure.
I didn't even know you had angle on them. It just was coincidence timing.
Because obviously, because to you, I'm down there. You don't even know.
Well, you're below me. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It was off key.
So once again, these. I think it was a female, like some
it was a woman,
girl, lost her mind. All right, fucking overkill, blah blah. You don't have to shoot us that much, blah blah. I'm like, mate, just like. At which point I thought
you're going to get shot.
I'm not even going to try and argue the point or even say sorry at this point, because do you know what? Like you said, you're at airsoft, mate. You come here to get shot. So I ducked into the building.
Yeah.
And at which point, me, Tim, Parky, Robson, Brad, Jay, this is what I mean about, this isn't elitism. This is about experience and level of play. Okay. Not once did we have to get on the comms, right, and tell someone where to go. Every one of us was covering a door, a window, some sort of angle out of the building. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd move. If there wasn't enough of us, we'd move between windows. If there was an empty window, one of us would cover it. Do you know what I mean? It was just this unspoken communication that only really comes with just a level of play, a level of understanding, really.
I think at this point it's worth mentioning as well, there was very few players out on the ground. Bearing in mind, I'll just pull the map up again. We are, the regen area for them is around 32, 33. So we are at the end of their spawn road.
Yeah.
And we obviously saw these compounds further down. And bearing in mind, from 49 to 28, and this crossroad here is all in range. So that's it's a square and a quarter over. So it's around 50, 60 meters. So all of this area is in play for us. 49 is a really key building to take. If you've ever been at Stanta before, it's 3 stories high. It's got a basement. It's an incredible building to get into. It allows you lots and lots of flexibility to be able to see into IED Alley and have overwatch from there. It sits on almost a bit of a hill. It's got scrubland behind it. And you can see 27, 28, 29, 26, 25, 24. All of it is in range. So it's a really crucial building to nail down, especially when you're trying to do the nighttime stuff. So we engage a few players. This is when I would quite happily say that I lost my rag.
That sounds like you, Tim.
I know it is. It's so uncommon. So, every 10 years, I have a bit of a turn and lose my temper. We are all called out of the building for using IR lasers. Specifically, the guys on the ground floor, which was me and it was Brad, I think. Everyone else was split between the other floors. So I'm out first. Bearing in mind, I do not have, openly, do not have a battery in my PEC unit. So there's 3 marshals outside, all waiting to, give someone the hairdryer treatment, all stand their arms like, fucking hell, we're going to lose the site, we're going to do this. And I was like, mate, check everyone's guns. Feel free. You are actively pulling us out of the game now. You've blown all the cover of all the work that we've done. Yep. We've tried to be sneaky. We've tried to do all this stuff. You've had marshals all over us all day. If you're that keen on doing it, lay everyone's guns on the floor and check them for a laser. Now, they refused to do that. And then when I showed them that I didn't have batteries, Brad wasn't running a PEC. I don't think Jay was running a PEC. Most guys who had PECs on didn't even have batteries in them. They absolutely refused to do anything about it. So the whole exercise then was absolutely fucking pointless. Said to the guys, that is an absolute joke. Come into the building, call everyone into a room. Say, guys, there's been some IR laser. Now, what we were actually told is that it was tracer. It was someone licking off a load of tracer rounds that was then, kind of confused for an IR laser. And that's what the guys saw. We had incoming tracer, we had incoming strobe lights, we had incoming red lights, we had green lights, we had everything that people could use. We were stood out the front of a building, deep in enemy territory, getting told off, when realistically, they took no action on us as players. They took no actions to rectify the situation in regards to finding out who had the IR laser. They essentially just pulled us out of the building for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
It was
And I think it was more, it's just the fact that when you went, mate, check my box. Look, no, check it. Look, I'll take the battery cap off, look inside. He's like, no, it's fine, I believe you. And literally, that was the words, wasn't it, Tim? I know, I believe you. So yeah. if you believe me, why pull us all out of the building?
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. It was dumb.
So mate, I'm just reiterating kind of what you said, but like I say, it's all that hard work of getting there undetected, getting 6 guys in that building, clearing it. Because realistically, the guys that come in that are reinforcing to try and retake that building, they don't know if there's 1 guy in there, if there's 6, if there's 8, 12. They don't know. They fucking do now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We were all pulled out the front. So I think, at this point in the night, there was very few people on the ground anyway. Probably sub 30 on their side, and there was us and Grey Fox.
I mean, do you know what though? So I'm going to say we had a good tear up for, I don't know. It was a good 3 hours, 2-3 hours, isn't it? So we held that building, held it.
Yeah. Even after being outside it, right? So we were outside it, and then as soon as we went back in, that's when pyro started coming through the windows. Players were trying to climb through the windows. We had pyro coming through the upstairs window, strobe lights being used, lasers being used, everything. Either the marshals told players that we were there, or all of the kind of kerfuffle of pulling us out the building attracted other players. Yeah. One of the two, 100%. Yeah.
Now, so we, anyway, I mean, we was just, fair play to the guys that were coming back. There was very few, but the guys that were coming back, they were determined. Do you know what I mean? But we just kept bodying. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was a bit that annoyed me, is the fact that there was, we've been, now we know we was accused of X, Y, Z, climb through windows, etc. And I've just walked out of one of the rear rooms. Okay, check the front door. Well, as I've walked back, there's a guy in the room that I've just come from. Now, the only way that he could physically get there is if he climbed up in through the window. Yeah. Anyway, pied the corner, whack. I've dropped him. As I've then arced the rest of the room to cover the last, the sort of the rest of the 80% of the room. I've seen a shadow of another guy. Boom, FBG6 went in. He got dead.
Boom.
And then as I've stepped into the room, there's a guy half in the window like this.
Yeah.
Physically dragging himself through the window. So I've shot him in the top of the head. yeah. All right, mate, I'm here. And then slowly like lowered himself back down the window. I was like, mate, all three of you were cheating.
Yeah.
It's in the rules. You can't climb through windows. So I shouldn't have had to use a bang. I shouldn't have had to shot any one of them
No.
because they're breaking the rules. But yet we're the ones getting called out. Do you know what I mean? It's just annoying, mate.
It is. And also that Marshal was on the stairs in the centre of the building. The staircase goes up the middle of the building and the rooms are all around the outside. So I had the same thing. Pyro come in. I've run out into the hallway essentially with the Marshal. It's gone boom in the room. The Marshal's gone no kill. I've gone back through the doorway and I was exactly the same thing as you. The guy's pulling himself up, seen the hands come over the kind of picture rail or whatever it is, you know, like the sliders.
Yeah,
He's pulled his head up and I've literally just, with my nod up, put my little razor pixel in the middle of his face, gone whack. I said to the Marshals, mate, he's climbing through the window. Yeah, but did he climb into the room? No, mate. He said, he might have just been looking for us. Like, whatever, right? You know, this is something again where,
but that doesn't get brought
felt
up.
like they would. No, it felt like they were just steering things towards us. Now, look, I don't want this to be a sympathy party. I actually had a really good weekend. I had a lot of fun with the boys. It made me appreciate just how good Parky and Robson are as players. And seeing the experience of those players on the ground always really humbles me. Just to know that there is some absolute killers that play airsoft and that aren't on most social media bragging about it. They're not YouTube. They're just
players.
Guys that can slay. They're just the good players. Yeah. So that was really good for me. Being at Stanta, I think you could have put me there straight up, Richie, in the pissing rain with loads of shit players, with a gun that broke, and I'd have still had fun. I love Stanta. I love Stanta. It's one of my favourite places to play. It's so much fun, so tight, lots of angles. You can really get a lick on. The ground's great. It's just such a good site. So there is definitely some positives. It's just so sad that they.
So just going back
that way.
Going back to that building. Obviously, you know, contrary to the Marshals and most of the Op 4, we're not, you know, we're not superheroes. We do take our hits. So obviously, after we all got dragged out, like Tim says, everyone kind of congregated on that building. Slowly but surely, we all sort of lost a few lives. And I think it was me. I think it was Parky. Might have been Brad and Jay, I think. Or was it you as well, or was it all of us?
Where's that?
Back at Respawn.
All of us.
Was it all of us? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we all went back together, yeah.
So we all went back together. So now we said, right, listen, it worked the first time, guys. Let's hit it again. Do you know what I mean? So again, like, it's not rocket science. We took the route worked the first time, so we did the same route, snuck down, except this time, rather than going in the front door, we entered through the basement. So
so sneaky. It was so good.
And do you know what? Like, this is where you realise that there's levels to this. You know, we managed to get 6 guys. We managed to open a door silently through a basement that had maybe about 3 inches of water in it. Silently got 6 guys in the basement. So at which point I'm using my my Glock 19 with a little RMR on top, just lining the red dot up. And we did what's called, those of you who don't know, some of you probably do, a silence halt. So basically, we went static in the basement for about 3 minutes. Yeah. Basically, soak up the environment, listen to what's going on. Sure as anything, on the first floor, you could hear people talking, hear what they were saying. We worked out through the conversation. There was only 7 guys, 7 Op 4 playing in total throughout the whole field. 5 of which were in the building that we were in the basement. So we heard them. I think a vehicle dropped by. Anyway, I just made a step towards to go up the stairs and start clearing, and I heard one of the guys say, "Oh, should we check the basement?" And his mate went, "Oh no, fuck that! I'm not going down there." It was literally, you couldn't have timed it better. So at which point, obviously, to them,
Richie, I actually think he said no one will be down there. I think really? That's what he said. Yeah, because I remember looking it over across to you and seeing you looking up with your arm with a massive smile on your face. Because I thought you had heard it, because he went, nah, no one's going to be down there. And there's 6 geezers with nods all packed up, ready for fucking basement. It was brilliant.
Yeah. So literally, sure enough, come up the first flight of stairs in the basement. So I'm now halfway up to the ground floor. Again, just using the RMR, I could see a silhouette through the window of 2 guys moving about. And anyone that knows height over bore and trying to shoot through between 2 steps like this big, honestly, you had to pick that shot. Anyway, wait for the shot. Clack with the pistol. Hit. Next guy move around. Clack. He copped it as well. So there's 2 dead out of 5. Turns out one of them was the HVT. We've then pushed up, and I think Parky was with us. Deployed the new SFDI, literally still with a gun, one-handed operation. Bink, bink, bink. Out it went, 3rd kill. But yeah, and I think it was at that point we was ground floor, wasn't we, at this point, I think?
Yeah. Well, I was still in the basement.
That's right.
Robson was outside. So Robson took a position up over the road. So we had some really interesting arcs covered. I was actually at the back of the building, but I could see down the hallway and out the front door that we came in, which put me in a really interesting position. So we had some very strange angles on the building that worked incredibly well. Like I say, I just... Again, I think if the Marshals would have known that we were there, they would have been all over us again. So essentially, we push back into this building. We take a bit of contact, and essentially some dead players come down from upstairs. There was a girl and a couple of other guys, and so I think what had happened, and this is me being absolutely honest from speaking to some of the red players. The message had gone out that the Heresy Group team were in this particular building. They'd all sat up outside. A silhouette comes down the stairs. A girl calls out. A girl calls out, dead player coming out. Steps onto the front porch area with some steps going downstairs and has taken a face full of full auto. In the face.
It was a full auto burst and a half, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a lot.
Clap the girl in the face, in the teeth, and in the mouth, like actually into the mouth. So choked Stanta.com. Instantly, that's what I've heard. I, being in the basement, had thought that someone had come out, got licked up, and fallen down the stairs because the or over the staircase itself, because there was a lot of noise. What had actually happened is, essentially she'd been shot all over the face and in the mouth, which is not nice. And also, it was blue on blue. And I think it was someone that was gunning for one of us coming out as a dead player, which is shit. One of the other things that I found out, via the last couple of days of conversations is a particular Marshal has been with a group of players that I know and that Richie knows. And the Marshal heard over the radio that the Heresy Group had injured someone in Building 49. Not 49, is it? I forgot what it's called.
40.
Yeah, it's 49. Sorry,
49.
I shut up. So, the Heresy Group had injured someone at Building 49. The Marshal has lost his shit.
It was a ceasefire call, wasn't it?
Ceasefire call. The Marshal's lost his shit and essentially was coming over to sort us out after giving us 3 strikes. We did not receive any strikes, any bans, any notifications of warnings or anything throughout the whole weekend, although we were pulled to one side for using IR lasers that later found out it was some tracer rounds. So let's be very clear here. There was definitely some egos or there was some Marshals that had it in for us. That, for me, is very disappointing that that's come out and sort of been made public knowledge. And it's also really disappointing that, from a business perspective, that wasn't nipped in the bud very quickly. At the end of the day, regardless of mine and Richie's player ethics, we are 2 paying customers for a business. Yep. And we have a platform in which we talk about airsoft and whether they choose to treat us any differently for that or not, I don't give a fuck. But the main thing was I paid the guy for an experience, for a weekend, to partake in an event which was labelled as a Milsim and I was expecting a professional standard from the business. The same as if I go and buy a phone or I buy a pair of trainers or anything, I'm expecting a service that is around the premium that I'm paying for the event. So to hear that type of caliber of Marshal was there, one, is very disappointing. To hear that one of my mates had to sort of slow a Marshal down and stop him from coming over and sorting us out, it is, one, slightly upsetting, and two, really fucking disappointing. Yeah. More disappointing than anything else that happened over the weekend. I can take salty players. I can take people not taking their hits. I can, deal with the Marshal fucking being glued to me for the weekend. It's all cool. I've got nothing to hide. But that type of behaviour is very, very wrong. That's my stance on it. It's super wrong.
It's the fact that they, as a Marshal or marshalling team, have assumed they've heard something go. They heard a problem and a ceasefire, someone injured in Building 49. They just assumed that it's us. Now, assumption is the mother.
It's a bad way out.
It's the mother of all fuck ups, mate. Now, and the thing is, mate, it didn't even come from us. So we heard it through a member of the opposing team.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? And that got fed back to us. So if you imagine that's one snippet of what was fed back to us because through someone that we know, imagine what we haven't heard. Do you know what I mean? So now, obviously, in the safety brief, just regarding the Marshals as a whole, and this isn't, because there were some parts of the marshalling was good in the fact, like I say, the Friday night they came around checking on everyone. Yeah. I think at one point I was walking back to respawn. The guy said, "All right, mate, everything okay? Enjoying it?" I was like, "Not really, mate." He's like, "All right, what's up?" I said to him, "The list is too long. I can't. If I was to stand here and tell you all the problems about this event and what's going on, it would take too long." But going back to the Marshals, in the safety brief, I think the head Marshal said, "Right, lads, all the Marshals here are volunteers, so go easy on them." Now, this may sound harsh. I'm paying a lot of money to be there.
Yeah.
Whether you choose to pay them or not, that's your prerogative. Why should your choice on paying your staff affect my experience? Okay.
Yeah.
So just because you choose not to pay your staff, why should my experience suffer? Why should they give me a lesser service?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which rolls on to the next series of events. So we eventually pushed from 49 up through the rest of the buildings, which is basically 24, 25, 26, 29.
Yeah, we were at 29, weren't we, when it all kicked off?
We're at 29. So
we're at the back wall of 31, essentially, aren't we?
So we're pushing them back towards their respawn.
Yeah.
Now, things are getting, like, the hit taking's getting horrendous. I mean, actually horrendous, right? To the point, I must be 20 meters from someone in an alleyway. So I was at the north side of 29. This guy was on the south side of 28, if that makes sense. So basically draw a line directly down between the two. The compound must be 25 meters, if that. Okay.
Yeah.
As always, I've got a reticle up to my MV, and I have basically stood on the corner, peeked the corner. We've both peeked the corner. He's got white light. I've waited till we've both peeked. A little, because I've got my MP5 set to burst. Little 4-round burst, and nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I've taken my hit. He hasn't taken his. We've both exchanged at the same time. There's a Marshal 6 foot from me to my right. At which point I was like, "Are you actually serious?" I said, "Marshal, are you not going to do anything about that?" And bearing in mind, the Marshal's just like that in his phone, like this.
Oh, he said, can't see it, mate. Something, didn't he?
He's like, "Well, I can't. What do you want me to do? I can't see. I can't see it. I didn't see anything." "Well, you're not, mate. It's pitch black." But, like, I'm telling you, as a customer, I'm telling a Marshal I have an issue. Okay, to choose then to brush it off and not do anything about it, mate, is absolutely disgraceful. Yeah. As a customer, it's like me buying a shit telly from Curry's and then going, "Excuse me, I want to speak to the manager. I've got a problem with this telly," and him going, "Don't see a problem with it, mate." And just, do you know what I mean? That's what it is. So,
well, At this point, mate,
I nearly threw my fucking MP5 on the floor and basically just walked back to regen, come back, said, right, let's have it. Let's keep going till everyone quits.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep going.
Yeah. So the other thing I think that's a bit upsetting is that there were some players there that I have social media followings. They have, a kind of collective following, and to see them kind of really break the rules and not take hits like they did was quite upsetting for me. I don't like the players, either of them anyway, but they do have a following. And I literally saw the guy turn to one side as he was taking rounds, cover his face with both hands. As written in my write up, you could see the BBs hitting his clothing. And then
you could hear it.
You could hear the rounds literally nicking him off. At the end of the day, like we just showed at the map, at this point, we're at 31. Their full respawn is between 33 and 34 on that road.
Yeah.
If you look at that, that's less to the first alleyway, less than a quarter of a square, which is 25 meters. Any of you guys that use nods, you can see 25's no drama. And the guys on the opposite corner see the rounds hitting him. He's just covered his face, took a load of rounds, picked his gun up, put his white line on, and started shooting back. Richie had lost his rag at this point. So had I. So I put a tag round from 31 and to the compound wall, I think it is, of 32. So it must have been this back wall. It's gone across, hit the back wall with about 4 players stacked up on this wall here, trying to get to this gate so that they could come towards us. It's gone boom. The geezer's dropped his gun down. And then I was like, well, that's from them not dead, clearly. And then the next thing is I was with Dan Tyler actually on this back wall, and you've heard this. It was literally finger on trigger, 120 rounds of tracer straight back from exactly the same area. This is an impact tag round. That building probably isn't even 10 meters across. So anyone on the back wall should have been dead. And at that point, this was over, right? There was so few people out on the ground. There was, so little, willingness from the players to really get stuck in. It was just annoying. This is where, in my opinion, if I was a marshal, it was my event, I'd have been out on the ground, geeing people up. I would have also been in the safe zone. Right, guys, we need you out. This is a 24-hour event. Get yourself together, get your kit out. We need you in filling. I would be ringing people up, right? Getting them out there, making sure that my event was not a failure. At the end of the day, they cut that event short. They did not refund anyone. They haven't offered to refund anyone. They go, well, guys, that's 8 hours less work that we've got to do. And yet everyone's still paid 100 quid, fucking winner. So let's call it Index at 3 a.m. 2 hours into absolutely no fighting happening on the ground at all. I heard that there was a few bits of action down at the police station, but that was it, right? But in the grand scheme of things, they cut the event short by 10 hours. 10 hours. That's nearly half of the event, right? And no refunds are offered. Nothing's been done. It's just poor marshalling and fucking absolutely shocking ethics from a business.
Yeah,
it really is.
I think, and it's also, if you imagine, it comes down to the event organizer in the fact that they haven't put across the message to players. So if you are a Sunday skirmisher, if you've never done a Milsim, you have to start a Milsim at some point. That's fine, absolutely fine. I'm all for it. Like, everyone should do Milsims, quit skirmishing. But you have to at some point introduce them. So no one is ever going to have all the kit and be ready for a Milsim. But what they're not doing, okay, as an event organizer, is showing people the bar where they need to be as a Milsimmer. Okay, that's whether that's a certain level of kit. Doesn't have to be a brand. You can pick up cheap kit, but a certain level of kit that will keep you warm, keep you dry. And ear pro. Just the lack of ear pro this weekend. Like, I hardly saw anyone with ear pro. Like, it's bang central, mate. That should have been a minimum requirement for attending. And then also just setting the bar as, as loads of guys said in the thing, that about attitude towards the event, attitude towards the game, and and putting yourself in as an upstanding Milsim player. You have to put yourself as this tip top, squeaky clean. Don't want to get caught out. Don't take any chances. Because like I say, the Milsim scene's too small for that, far too small. But I just think as an event organizer, that they didn't guide the players into this,
the right way. No,
he got missold, completely missold on both ends of the scale.
Yeah, and I think so there's a lot of people saying in here, and I totally agree. Black Del Boy, epic name. Hopefully, as a business, they learn from their mistakes. Do you know what? I really hope so.
Yeah,
I hope that there's two ways this goes, in my opinion. They learn, right, and they say to all of the people that went to the last event, including us, guys, we would like you to come back for a reduced fee. Trust us to deliver you a better event and do that on the remit of a reduced rate. Because at the end of the day, I paid £100 for a 24-hour event and it was over by, say, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was fucking done.
Not even that, mate.
Not even that.
It was about half past 12.
Okay, so say by the time we dekitted, what we went to bed about?
Yeah, half one.
Yes.
By the time we dekitted everything,
Yeah, so say 1, 2 o'clock, right? Whatever. It's still 10 hours short. It's still nearly just under half the event cut short. So I think that's the attitude I would like them to take. What I can actually see happening is they will go back to their private chat groups. Me and you will be enemy number one. They will cater to their skirmish following that they have to do another event. They will probably fill it out because Stanta is such a good sell. It's such a good sell. They'll probably fill out another 100 players. They'll go down the same thing again. They'll put out a very succinct message like they did this time. They will delete comments from their page. Robson commented, Parky commented, I think Jutt commented. All of their comments were deleted. I think the only reason they didn't delete mine is because they knew it was going up on our page, the Heresy Group's page anyway.
Yeah.
So it was going to get traction in regards of our feedback. And I stated that at the top. This will be posted on the Heresy Group. If you choose to delete it, fine. So I hope to fuck that they come back to the people that done their last game and said, guys, give us another chance. Let's go at this again. We've learned our lesson, so on and so forth. I hope they don't go down the route of, well, if you don't want to come, fuck you. Because it's such a sad mentality to take. But I feel like that's the way they'll go.
But just read the comments. Parky, and I completely forgot about it, to be fair, actually, because I think we was all in such not a fit of rage. We were so just had enough at that point. So that guy that got hit in the alleyway, right, who didn't take his hits.
Yeah.
So just to paint the picture, obviously there's Parky. I think Tim had already cut the alleyway because that's how comes you saw it, because Tim was the other side of the alleyway. There was Parky, Bradley, then me. So Parky basically pied the corner. He peeked it first, saw the guy was there. Full auto, come around the corner, nothing, and that's when the first rounds didn't take. Okay, so Parky's then taken his hit and then stepped to one side. Brad, seeing this, has then done exactly the same, mate. Gone click, click, two clicks on the fire selector. At which point, you saw it. I was around the corner. I couldn't see it. I heard it, mate. The guy must have been 4 foot from him, because I heard him going off his plate carrying jacket. Yeah. And I think, was it Brad or Parky went, "You're not going to take that, mate?" And he went, "I'll take my hits if I fucking want to."
Yeah. Good work, Alex. Good fucking work, you absolute piece of shit.
And obviously, I didn't see it, so I didn't get involved. But I was like, wow. I think that's my words. I had other words of wow. That, are you actually serious? Wow.
I think what for me as well, mate, I had to I flipped my nods up, turned them off, and I was walking away.
That's
because I was done, right? At that point, I was pissed off. To be honest, I don't like the bloke anyway. I think the bloke's a fucking idiot. But for him to do that, and the way that he took that fire, he literally covered his face and took a load of fucking rounds. And then he said, yeah, exactly. I think Brad can put the exact quote in. But
Brad or Parky will better put it in, because
it was something along the lines of, "I'll take my hits if I want to," and I just thought that describes you, your ethos, your mentality, and your attitude that I've seen previously to a fucking team. You're a piece of shit. You know, it's horrific.
And at that point, mate, I think, you know, this is when we finally called it a night, because at that point you can't, Brad, I only take hits if I want to. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. So that's obviously I was just around the corner. Honestly, mate, absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, like I said, guys, you know, it's so important that you roll with guys you get on and have a blast with, because even after all of this, we still went back to our little Chateau de THG, sat down, put some hot food on, had a gas, had a good laugh. Do you know what I mean?
Had a lovely cup of tea. Yeah.
So, you know, as bad as it gets, you can't let it damage the spirits, you know.
You can't. And to be honest, I think for me the event felt really good. I think there's a point here where, you know, I feel like those guys have not responded to any social media.
No.
So our THG feed and comment about the event has had more comments than theirs. And that's because they've deleted a load of shit that they didn't want to see. Right. So, and they've deleted a load of shit they didn't want other people to see, which is fine. Right. You know, censor it. People are going to know that this was a piss poor show. And luckily, you know, our audience is one in which they are very inclined towards that type of event. So the likelihood is the guys that are watching now and go to watch this throughout the next week are probably going to realise that this was pretty poor, not just from an organisational perspective, but from a staffing perspective, and actually from an organisation perspective. In fact, that they saw sufficient holes, issues going wrong with the games, arguments, bad causes of play, and didn't step in and actually take any action. And even when they were given the opportunity to take action, they didn't. So I think as a business, they're going to understand that they've made some fucking big issues here, big errors. And they should have addressed some issues, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, like I say, if you want to censor it, fine, go ahead. Do you know what I mean? But I think at the very least, what they could have done is they could have just wrote a statement or wrote a comment back to us going, or back to, you know, what was written from us, and to say, guys, thank you for your feedback. We'll take it on board and we'll do what we can to improve it. Or they don't even have to say that. All they had to say was, "Thanks, guys. We'll take your feedback on board." At least acknowledge it. Do you know what I mean? Because right now, all they're doing is burying their head in the sands and then waiting for another 140 unsuspecting skirmish players to go, "Yeah, I want to play there," and have a terrible time. You know. So, guys, any questions, comments? Please stick them in the comment section whilst we're here. I just want to quickly touch on some of the kit that we used this weekend. Because there was some stuff I was loved, like, mate, too excited for, too excited. So, what me and Tim have been very, very lucky enough to have, I think it's the first 4 off the production line, wasn't it, to actually be used, was the SFDI from Torque Precision, which are the brand new training device, impact training device. These things are absolutely outrageous. Will blow a TRMR out the water. Now, this is all well and Gucci, so we actually didn't run it like this. This can go in any sort of 40mm pouch. Bottom screws off as some others do, as you can see there. This is the obviously just the plain base. You can get different inserts for here. I think it's like 12 gauge, 9mm, 209. So me and Tim basically run these this weekend. So it comes with
super fun.
Yeah, Gucci little carrier as well. So obviously mine and Tim had ours set up for 209 primer, different color handles for different calibers. But the good thing I liked about this, I think, did you run yours at the same place as mine, Tim? Sort of right hand cummerbund.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So the idea with this bit of kit is,
I'll show you.
Tim will demonstrate. it is a one-handed operation. So if you imagine if Tim's left hand is still on the gun,
go like this.
Right.
I pinch these two side bits. The top will come off. I pull like so, and then this is out.
That's good to go.
That's live to go. As you throw it, the spoon, if I can get it to do it, will spring off, and then this is ready to go. So essentially,
really hope that had something in it.
No, it doesn't. But this is like Richie's, but mine's got the insert in it for the 209 primer from the weekend. But yeah, it's as simple as that. To reload it again, guys, which is really nice about this, you just simply put your fresh 209 in. You get your spoon like so. This will fit in like that, and then it's as simple as putting the pin back through like that, and then back into the case like so. So you're done. So it's a really, really quick reload. And again, to do it, just
reload.
Full speed. So I've got my gun up, and then I can essentially just pinch, and I'm ready to go. It's just a very light pull, and then that's ready to launch.
So there was I think I was coming up on the that big building on the first set of stairs. Parky got clipped by a guy around the corner. I literally had swapped my MP5 from right shoulder. I still have my MP5 on the corner here with my right hand. Like just Tim says, I'll do this in sort of slow motion if I can. Again, just pinch this, grabbed here, because as you can see the little lanyard attached. So you're not going to lose your pin either. Sorry guys. So the pin will stay intact. So there's your pin and ring there. So a little pull there that will lock the pin up. That will pull the pin off the top. Quick pull, and like Tim says, that just pops off. And the good thing about this is, so this has a little pin, a little locking pin, just in the spoon there. So the good thing about that is it lines up on the body. So if you have this in your hand like that, okay, that pin just there means it won't go off prematurely. So if you're running through, or you actually get knocked or hit a door frame or hit your bit of kit, that, like, unlike a TRMR, that will not go off. That is still safe until the spoon is deployed. Now it's ready to go. So it's got three safety devices on this. Super cool bit of kit. So this is from Torque Precision. This is the SFDI. Obviously comes in. You can choose your base adapters: 12 gauge, 9mm, or 209. But I just love the fact that it comes. You can get it with one of these as well. Like, one-handed deployment for me, mate, is an absolute winner.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's one of the key things this weekend is that, I'm so used to, my belt kit. I undo a buckle, then I rip the Velcro up. I get my tremor out. I normally wedge it against my kit and twist it and then throw it into a room. I come up some stairs with Richie and Robson, and it was bang out. I literally could keep my scar up and go rip and just throw it into the room. The nice thing about the spoon as well is that it's really chunky in comparison to a GR20 spoon. A little bit more difficult to find, but these are really good. People are asking about price and where to buy. I will get a link for you, and I'll put some photos up in the next day or two about where to buy them. I think they are available in a few places, but I'm not sure yet. We literally have just got these. So if anyone's interested, we'll put something on Facebook, and our Instagrams will get some links up for them. But really, really impressed. If you're after a really solid impact grenade, this is definitely a TRMR beater by a mile. And also they look Gucci as fuck. I mean, that's my main thing. They really do look the part.
They look Gucci, and obviously these were, just
for size comparison as well, they are not giant. A lot of people have seen photos of these and think they're huge. They are a very, very compact size. So this is just a normal kind of monster.
And I mean, the good thing, basically these are designed for law enforcement and law enforcement and SWAT. So that's where this has come from. So these are issued with LE and SWAT over in stateside. Obviously, different charges. We've seen videos of
Gucci teams using these. Gucci teams.
So those of you that are asking, basically the pin is tied to the body. so you don't lose the pin.
Yeah.
The spoon does go off into the room with the grenade. So could you
can
lose
tie it, but
you can tie it. Of course you can. But could you lose a spoon? Of course you could. But they are bright colours. They come in blue, yellow, green, all sorts. But the
orange
spoons are
and black. Yeah.
The spoons are super cheap. Super cheap. You can get these uber cheap as well. So never fear with that, guys. Unlike the police impacts, which you can't get anymore, there are tons of these available. So if you was to lose a spoon, it's not the end of the world. They are cheap and you can get them super easy. So
I think you can get packs of them.
Other than that, mate, what else was an absolute winning bit of kit for you this weekend?
Do you know what? There's two things that jump out at me that never cease to impress. One of them is the Razor and the Scar build in its entirety. I'm not going to go into it. You guys have probably heard me bang on about Scars way, way, way too much. But the gun was very fucking impressive. It was responsive. It was accurate as shit. It was just, oh mate, it just was incredible. One of the other things, I won't hang this out too much. The other thing was the Helican Level 7. Another very, very impressive bit of kit and not massively expensive. You know, it's not a 600 quid Arc'teryx jacket. It was really good. I wore it, t-shirt and the jacket over the top for all our night ops. I got a little bit too warm, probably a bit too warm, but I did manage to get my arm up underneath the plate carrier and unzip it almost fully. But it's warm. It's very rugged. You know, it got bashed against a lot of walls. You know, a lot of the time with the nods, you're dragging it with your gun up in a stack. You know, this arm is rubbing down the side of a building or you know, something abrasive. And it was just very comfortable, very warm. And even in that morning rain that me and you were in, which was torrential, kept me nice and dry, nice and warm. So they were bits of kit for me that really worked quite nicely. Again, you know, the Scar continues to blow me away.
Yeah, and again, like, thing is, without a filter, mate, whatever you had your red dot or crosshairs on, mate, that was getting clipped. Again, for me, it's the first weekend I've stepped up and gone from my I don't know how many years old, 5-year-old tagging shells. I've gone to the new
you got the Pro Evo, haven't you?
The Pro Evo, yeah, for CO2 and HPA. Now, I was a bit skeptical about these because obviously I know I upgraded the O-rings on my original tag shells, which you shouldn't do, but I did. But these things were, mate, these went. And do you know what I really liked about it? These are obviously only compatible with the Fist 2, so the new Fist filling device. But I would say, guys, definitely get the Fist 2 and this as a combo, because it's got a special little nozzle that will only work with these. But as you put it in, goes in. As you let it off, there's not a single piece of CO2 that gets lost. It all goes in here, which equals more bang for your buck. So yeah, super happy with these. So much so I've done 2 whole boxes. Thank you, Mike Marden, for that. That was got me out of trouble. But yeah, so super happy with these. Again, it's another bit of kit we've only recently just got. So thank you, Tagging. We will be getting some media and a review up on these very, very shortly.
Yeah, you know, tags for me when people take their hits are still, since I've started, the most impressive piece of kit and force multiplier. I again done 2 boxes this weekend. Sadly, to a lot of non-hit takes and you know, being very close to people and them not taking hits, which is depressing, right? Because it's really expensive tag rounds.
Yes, mate. Yeah, for people not to take the hits.
For people not to take it, it's annoying. But I still love the pirate gun. I love that noise it makes.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. So much fun. So I think the weekend in all for me was really good. It was great running out with the guys that I was lucky to run out to. It was good running into some old faces that I haven't seen for a while. The organisation itself was slightly upsetting, underwhelming, just in the way that it was promoted to be a Milsim, and there's certain expectations that come with that word. And I am just used to a very high caliber of event being, you know, kind of a sterling regular.
Yeah.
You have a certain set expectation in your mind. So it's a sad that it was. Just as kind of, I guess, a bit of a closing word on the whole event, I really fucking hope that Combat Airsoft go away, rethink things, and reach out to people that were expressive in the fact that they were unhappy. Me and Richard have learned over the years that it's very easy to walk away from an event and go, yeah, mate, that was great. And then get in the car and be like, that was fucking shit.
Yeah.
When I realised that that doesn't actually help businesses improve, my attitude changed. And every event that me and Richie have gone to and partook in, we try and do a debrief, and we try and be very honest with the event providers, owners, as to what we saw was good and what was bad. And that's all we're really doing here. I'm not saying that anyone doesn't deserve to be above, the media that's put back. I think the biggest mistake they've made is deleting comments. I think that's wrong. I don't think that anyone is above feedback, including us.
Definitely. And the thing is, mate, obviously we've had, unless it's someone going, oh, I slept with your nan last night, we try and we obviously try and leave every comment up, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, because do you know what? Like, you can't, if you're going to put stuff out there on social media, you have to get ready to what's going to be said back. Whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, as long as it's a valid argument. Like I say, if it's not a valid argument, then then it probably will get deleted. But I mean, on the topic, if it's on the topic and a valid argument, of course. Just another quick one, mate, before we sort of, like I say, wrap up. Obviously, unfortunately, there was no filming on site whatsoever, so we didn't get any gameplay footage. What would have been interesting, mates, would have to run this.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, if we was allowed to video with this, okay, at night time, boy, you'd have seen
some horrific play.
Horrific play, non-hit taking, me having to call player marshals out for not taking their hits, and then backpedaling very quickly, and then making up a rule on site. Oh no, I thought we got shot from directly above. You're not allowed to do that. Since when? Oh, the rule came in today about lunchtime. Cool. Okay, mate. So yeah, gutted that we didn't get any footage of this, but this will be coming soon.
Expect
awesome
some
bit of kit. Love this.
Yeah, I think that there has been, so just talking about the Cynex, right? It is a color NV camera. It is a digital sensor within a video camera, so it's not done with a tube. So that means that the definition and focus and all those sorts of things essentially can be adjusted. And it means that you can get a really clear picture from it without doing lots of adjustment, like filming through night vision. Also, due to the fact that it's color, you get some really funky colors off of backlighting, and it makes the footage look really cool. Since us receiving this, I've seen a load of messages of, yeah, well, it's only as good as Gen 1 or Gen 2 or whatever. Let's just be very, very clear. This is not replacing night vision. This is so we can show you guys our favorite part of our events, which is me and Richie are nocturnal night Milsim players. In essence, we both are very, very fond of playing at night. That's it. I mean, I'm quite open about this, and that's my favorite part of the weekend. I would quite happily do all of the shit stuff during the day, whether that be going and medicing teams in, or just doing admin for people, or helping teams out, driving, stag, whatever. During the day, stag is cool with me. At night, I want to go out. And this is going to take you players with us or you other people that are playing and people that understand the game out with us at night, so you can see what sort of shit we get up to. That's what this is for. It's to show you us and what we like to get up to at night. Our favorite thing.
Definitely.
Is that cool, Richie? I mean,
mate,
this is
absolutely
your baby, right?
Definitely. And I think for those guys that are interested, it's much more than just a night vision camera that records in full color night vision. It's a regular camera. It takes pictures. It does time lapse. Does a plethora of really cool stuff. It's basically an all-in-one handy cam, basically. Obviously, a lot of people are asking, are we going to mount it as a monocle? I think we would like to try that. I think we'd definitely like to give it a go.
I'll give it a go, yeah.
Just to see, how it compares. but like I say, it's not. It works the same as any other night, as a night vision device. It has a night optical sensor that does require some ambient light to work. So those of you thinking, that if you're going to go into a pitch black room and it's going to be all magic and unicorns and stuff,
it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. But no, we are super, super keen to show you what is possibly our our favourite part of any event, really. Obviously, there's been many stories of us bodying at night, and again, if we could have recorded this one, you'd have seen exactly that. But unfortunately, there was no filming on site at all.
And it is a shame, because I would love to have shown some of the cheating, but also some of the shots that myself and Richie, pulled off at night. There was some epic shots that have stayed with me and will be something that I talk about when I'm drinking with Richie again in about 12 months' time, that will continually come up. And it just goes to show the testament of how much I trust my kit and that sort of thing, So there's sliding windows, and they're kind of like a rectangle space shape, and half opens one way and then the other half opens the other way. So guys open one window, so the window size is around maybe a foot by a foot.
Yeah.
So I'm on the back, and I've got the scar down. I'm looking around with the nods, and I just see this face appear in the window, and it's just lit up by the moon and the night vision. So I've got the razor, and I've put the reticle right in the middle of the guy's face and just put one round out. The sound, if you imagine dropping a conker, if you've ever got a conker and dropped a conker on wooden floor, that's what it sounded like.
Laminate floor.
On laminate. It just went
bonk.
And that was it, mate. I put the gun down. I didn't even wait. I just saw him go out onto the balcony and down some steps. I just could see the door swing open. I saw him go out of the compound. He didn't say a thing.
Yeah.
Shots like that for me are always so special. Under nods, very difficult conditions, shooting at a funky angle. Nods this eye, razor this eye, trying to line everything up, and then putting that one round out. It was just beautiful. It was really, really good.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Yeah, good.
See if there's any. Right, guys, question time. Still got 100 people watching. Guys, if you're still watching, please drop a like on the video. I know it's a little bit difficult to do, but we've had 5 people dislike the video. I imagine that they are staff at Combat Airsoft.
Hating.
But we'd really love to get a really big outweighing of likes, and obviously it would be really great if you could put a like on the video. So please fire your comments over. I'm going to put a little banner up. Here we go.
Yeah, so any questions, comments, whether it's about the event, also I think we've covered everything, whether it's about the kit that we run.
Yeah, fire them over and we will do some questions.
Any kit you think we've run at this event?
Oh yeah,
just let us know.
Ladders, bungee ropes.
Richie gone bald too. No, mate, I'm just having a very bad hair day. Oh, actually, it's looking quite exquisite.
The first thing that I saw Sunday morning, was a wild Richie appear with his hair directly up. It was the best thing I've ever. It was the best thing I've ever seen. So, Brooksy, next event. Richie, what are we doing?
Next event.
Richie does all the organising. Next event, we're not sure yet. We're trying to work.
Not sure. We've there's something in the pipeline, but we're not. Not sure yet.
So the bang is called the Torque Precision SFDI. We will get you some links probably tomorrow. Probably won't be tonight. Probably tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Instagrams, myself and Richie's, and we'll get some links up to it. We might even have a discount code. I'm not sure yet. But we'll try and get you one.
How hyped are you for the TN Mark 46? Hype. It does mean that this little baby might have to go though.
And I love that gun.
I love that. I love that thing, mate. Boy,
that the Mark 46 is just a beast. So the great grenade is called the Torque Precision SFDI. There you go. I'll put a picture up of it somewhere. I don't know if they are out yet. I know that people have reviewed them, but I don't know if they're physically out for sale yet. We will be the first people to let you know. Just if not, DM myself or Richie about it. Mate, when you lot was getting issues, should have got the GMP out. What?
Yeah, boy, this one.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's a fucking tank, that gun. Yeah. So the grenade. What nods did you goons use for the event? Richie is a Julie, and I'm a oney.
Dual spark cores.
Richie was using dual spark cores, and I was using a candle in a toilet tube. Will there ever has there already been a Heresy Group Milsim event? We have been asked about this a million times. I don't think we would do it. Personally, I can never say no, but I don't think we would do it.
I think it would. I don't want to say no. I don't know. I don't know. But never say never. But I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be very special. Like we would.
It'd have to be super elitist.
There'd be 3 people there. Me, Tim, and a Marshal.
Yeah. At least no neither of us are going to cheat. I don't know. I think if the Heresy Group grew, if the group ever grew out, and there was more of us to control an event, maybe so. Yeah. So I can't say no, but from my perspective, we would much rather at this point continue on with the training, because I think there's a big gap in the market for decent training. So no, not at the moment. Should I start a Milsim with Sterling? Yeah. Go with an open mind. Be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're failing if you're uncomfortable. Learn from it and stick them out. That would be my thing.
Show us the MP5. Sure. This thing weighs a ton, mate. I forgot.
It's fucking heavy. I know, it's
really heavy.
She's a beaut. Worked incredibly well at the weekend.
Really well. Few issues with the gate.
The A-ster,
the A-ster. So I will be doing a video on this soon. Obviously, I've got the gate tightening the scar. Absolutely flawless. First time I've used the A-ster. Few issues, but I think they are releasing firmware updates for it. So, but yeah, as a gun itself, this thing was lovely. Obviously, not quite as accurate as a Scar, but it's a CQB weapon. But the recoil was insane, mate. To the point I've got it lined up like the reticle through my nods, like sort of like this, because obviously it's like out in front of my nods like that, and it's going. I'm like trying to keep the reticle lined up, mate. Yeah, lovely bit of kit. So Jamie Britt, Camera Raids, Marek, thank you guys so much for a dual build on this from supplied by Jamie Britt and Daniele at Tony Soft Air, customized by Camera Raids, of course.
Do you know what slightly worries me? That just thinking about Miguel and Merrick, they do a lot of traveling via air travel. And I was just having a thought that if one of them died, or they both died, not being morbid or anything.
No, but, don't finish. Don't finish that sentence.
Should I not put it out there? Okay, all right. Just I'm worried about it.
You jinx it, mate. It will never no one will ever get an upgraded gun ever again.
I know it sucks. I'm just worried that if they were to ever disappear out of my life, I'd be upset.
To be fair, that they could go to Dave's Custom Airsoft.
Get a bag of fucking dog shit stuffed inside your fucking TM.
Set it alight.
Just take all the gears out and just leave a queef in there. Okay, questions. What's the name of the training grenade again? So it's Torque Precision, and it is the SFDI.
Get that pack off.
Oh shit! Right, show us MP5. Just because of your experience of Milsim to give the ultimate experience. Oh yeah, it makes sense. We've been asked about doing an event a lot. When's the next black event? Missed the first one. The next one is NVG1. It's fully booked. It is the 21st of this month. Really looking forward to it. Cannot wait to get some of you guys down. I think that For me, it's going to be exciting. I think for everyone there, it's going to be an experience. I think if you've spent a lot of time with nods, it's going to be more fun. If you have just started spending nods, it's just started experiencing your nods, or you've got, say, sub 30 hours, or even say sub 50 hours. I think it's going to be a real experience for you and a very steep learning curve, pretty much like our basics day. But good for both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, but I think the good thing about it is, mate, obviously we obviously, it's not, I know it's labelled an NVG event, but we are going to touch, without giving too much away, touch a little bit on white light, etc. So never fear. But yeah, again, super excited for it. Obviously, excited to get you guys along and trying to, experience everything from the beginners, like Tim said, all the way up to the experienced NVG users, getting you guys sort of, running, gunning, doing some drills.
There is a comment that was blocked by YouTube, but I want to read it because it is really funny. Killjoy for Fun said he would rather push shit under his eyelids than get work from Dave's Custom Airsoft, which I found absolutely brilliant as a comment. It's been blocked because it had swearing in it, but Killjoy for Fun. Killjoy
would rather push shit under my.
Absolutely, what a comment! Lasers, do you guys? So let's, to be quite honest, a lot of people asked us this at the weekend, and it's something that me and Richie have discussed about team size. For us, me and Richie have done a lot of events, just me and Richie. We found that to be a lot less hassle and also very efficient on the ground. This weekend, running with some really experienced players was great. It was a team of 6. I think team of 6 is probably the absolute maximum for me. I would like to do a team of 4, and I'm also happy, obviously, just me and Richie being out on the ground. We've done it a lot. It's very easy. We always have a laugh, and we always absolutely body when it's just us. So I think the smaller teams for me are definitely where I'm at. I'm also quite antisocial, so it's hard to have a big team.
We don't play well with others.
No, we don't. Try and get a weekend at Camp Sparta, do a training day Saturday/night, and then skirmish Sunday. Best place to get full gun upgrades, Tommy Carlston, Dave's Custom Airsoft. Go to Camo Raids if you've got a Tokyo Marui. They do other stuff as well, but their TM builds are fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they are NGRS experts.
Necrom 2001. Also, lads, you got me into some pretty high-end kit. My wallet has a love-hate relationship with you for that. If you speak to Brooksy or Mike Marden or any of the rest of the guys, they all absolutely hate us because of the money that they spend on kit. Only if you want an 80% markup.
But they never complain about the kit.
They don't. Tim, you are sick. I know. My TM would treble in value. Rip. Just to mention, your map has some different building numbers than the one issued. It's just one that I had kicking about. It's just one off my computer. I wanted to find it so people could see the site. How do I know if I'm confirmed booked? I paid the deposit right when it was announced, but just wondering. Dan, drop me a email, tim@theheresygroup.com, and I will have a look for you. You should have got a confirmation email from me to say that you was booked on. But Dan, message me. Is IR banned? Have I not got there yet? Go on, mate. Go.
No, I can't. Luke Stone, not a fan of NGRS. They always steal my bike. My boy.
Ouch.
Ow. Lord.
We are massive fans of IR lasers. Just got my first nods. Can't wait to use them next week. Chris, good work, mate. What bit of cat?
Nice.
What bit of cat?
What bit of cat?
What bit of kit would you never do without for an event apart from the Scar MP5? There's a few bits.
I'm going for 2.
Go on, go.
My old Petzl Tactica XP Headlight.
Good
Helmet.
one. Yeah. If your
headlamp.
other one is, if your next one's a multi-tool, I'm gonna be so pissed off.
No. My next one is my M320 with tags.
All right, done. Good call. Good call. So mine's my multi-tool. I use it so much at events that I just forget how much I use it.
Yeah.
I really do. Just stupid shit. I literally use it. I reload my tags with it. Just it's one of the things I always use. So I've got fairly cheap, sort of 60 quid multi-tool. It's fucking. I use it all the time. Outside of my gun, I like that. Another bit of kit, probably my Garmin. I always rock my Garmin, although I thought I lost it and I had it attached to my rig. But yeah, I was looking everywhere for it like crazy, and it was on my shoulder strap.
I'm going to say for a solid 10 minutes.
Yeah,
obviously, there was me, Robson, Parky chatting, blah, blah, we're just chatting. Tim's on his knees, like going through all his kit. But you know when someone's like doing admin, so you leave them alone, you don't want to bother them, I'll let him crack on. After about like 10 minutes, he's still rummaging like Gollum looking for the ring. Going through. And then I think Robson finally went, Tim, you all right, mate? You lost something? He's like, yeah, my Garmin. Robson went, it's on your rig, mate. It's there. And it basically just climbed its way up out of his like line of sight.
But yeah, so I love the Garmin. I always run it. It gives me a really good understanding of just sort of pace covered for grids and stuff like that, and even just for reference at sometimes. I have the little track on so I can see where I've been. It's easy to get disorientated, especially at night in buildings. It's really easy to see the path you've just taken in. So probably the Garmin and but great question. I don't know who put that in. WKD. Yeah, great question. I missed it. I only used my nods. I only solid one, not long there.
Yes, mate. We'll have to go to Camp Sparta at some point by the sounds of things. Go and make a weekend of it. Killjoy
is Dan from Cold Spear. Wicked, mate. Funny bastard. Team size never more than 6. Small is clean, clean is fast. 6 to 8, I think it's perfect from Stango. Yeah, it's a good shout. I think 6 and down. Camp Sparta is 4.5 hours from you, Tim, up near me. Oh, shit. Just had to remortgage. Brooksy. Right, guys, we've got a couple of minutes. Any more questions, please feel free to fire them in. We've got 88 people still logged in, so let me know if there's anything that you want to know. If it's anything offline, you want to ask us anything, outside of YouTube land, please feel free to hit us up on Instagram. It's the easiest way to contact both of us. I will put in a little banner thing so you can see our Instagrams.
Most WKD, most bit of guilty pleasure kit that you take. I'm going to say mine, you probably can't see my rig at the moment, is my Bluetooth adapter. So basically, okay, let's get it out. So this little bit of kit here.
It's so cool.
So I use a 3.5mm jack lead that JCI Comms done us. Goes from this, loops round into my RTHG PTT from JCI Comms. I then connect this via Bluetooth to my phone. So I haven't got to have my phone on the lead. I can have my phone in my pocket, in my thigh pocket, in my backpack.
Yeah.
Link it up to that. I can listen to music. I can make calls. All the audio comes through the PTT into my rake house. So I think we was at Stanta, wasn't we? We sat there having some food. I just went, boop, turned my Bluetooth on, got my phone out, put some Dolly Parton on. Was well away, mate.
Banger, mate. Absolute banger.
Yeah. How about you?
You know what? For me, it's still my nods. They are still my guilty pleasure by a long way. People with night vision get a lot of shit. One, from people that want night vision and just are unable to sort of take the massive fucking dive that it is to get it. And I think then you've got the other side of the guys that feel like as soon as you have night vision on, you're a superhero and it's the be all and end all of everything. And people need to realize that there's some real big limitations on night vision. Danny, I have just got your email. I'll check it in a sec. So it's still my guilty pleasure. It's still the thing that gives me that little buzz when I'm leaving, you know, the kind of fob area or whatever Milsim, whatever event we're at, that first time that I go click the thing down, I always get a little buzz still. It's still exciting for me. And I think that's why I'm so addicted to that night play, because I want to maximize the usage of the device that cost me so much fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, we've got a load more questions. Okay. But yeah. Have you had the new Vortex Micro X3? No, Richie's got one on the way. Swearing his band. God damn. Any highlights from the last game you would mention? Highlights. Probably just being with other guys that are very similar minded. You know, same sort of mindset, same go-get attitude, same aggressive play. I think that the biggest highlight of the whole thing was getting to hang out with some other guys that actually are very similar in the way that me and Richie play. That was probably the biggest highlight for me, hanging out with Parky and Robson, which is probably horrific for most people. But hanging out with those guys was really cool.
Yeah. What foods do you take? It really depends, mate. What kind of event it's going to be. So if we are fob based, like we know we're going to be in a hard standing building for most of the time, or based out of, I tend to take some more luxurious items. Like I might take a Italian meat platter.
I've been with you eating some Parma ham at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hummus and pita. I know Parky likes a bit of that.
Parky's
just something a bit more luxurious. I often make myself a little packed lunch. I make 3 packed lunches for when I'm out on the ground. So that'll be like a Lunchables pack, so like wraps, ham, and chicken with cheese strings that you can quickly do with a sauce. You can get these little chicken breasts in a packet, pre-seasoned. I'll have them, or maybe some fridge raiders. I'll then have like some frubes, little yogurt in a tube, and a chocolate bar. So lots of sugar, not loads of sugar, but some feel good food in there, because that's the stuff you're going to want to eat cold. That's still going to be tasty. Because I don't care what anyone says, if you eat a ration pack cold, you're a heathen. You're a heathen and a Neanderthal.
I don't do them.
No,
don't do them. So I'll blast through some of these questions, mate. Just because of timing. So for me, food wise, I always pre-cook. I normally have a little pot of pasta, do some grilled chicken, capers, jalapenos, some char grill seasoning or buffalo chicken, something like that. I always do myself a little posh pot of decent food, like pasta or a salad or something that I will generally be pretty good. I like those noodles. They're like a pot noodle, but they're fancy. They've got like glass noodles in and like decent vegetables and stuff. I like them. But so food wise, I'll take that. I actually don't like MREs. I don't like to eat shit. I know that Jay is a fan of like Pop Tarts and fucking Scotch eggs and sausage rolls and all that shit. I just can't do it. I need to have something to eat, decent to eat. Okay. So will you be attending England versus Scotland? I actually won't. I don't like Catterick. No, I like Catterick. I don't like the journey. The journey's too far.
Or you could do what Wiggs did. Turn up to Care went with nothing but a bag of Watsits.
Bag of 12 multi-pack of Watsits. Tim, why don't you like dropping mags? There's always going to be times where you can't just re-index. I just think that too many people do it to look cool. We had an event for training, and we asked guys to do a reload. And 75% of the guys dropped their magazine on the ground and done their reload. It was completely unnecessary. There was no need for it. And then we made everyone take 2 steps further forward. If you've ever been in a deep firefight where you've needed to do that type of reload, I completely understand that there's a time and case for it. But it is 5% of all of the fucking changes that you should ever do. The reason I don't like it is because you have to then say I'm in contact, right? And I'm ditching my fucking mags to the ground, right? I die, or I need to re-bomb. I need to then go down to the ground, pick those magazines back up, get this shit off of them if there's anything on them, right? And then re-index them anyway. The difference between ditching a mag, getting a new mag and putting it in the gun, and me being able to pull a mag, doing an admin reload, and then get that back in is about 3/4 of a second. It's minimal. So I just think that people do it, and it's so unnecessary.
But I also think people don't do it because they're not good at it, and they're not good at it because they don't practice enough.
That's it. Yeah.
And honestly, like, so when me and Tim started going down this road of indexing mags and stuff, we were shocking. We were like fumbling mags, like getting things stuck or caught on stuff. You know, it's all a learning curve. It's a refinement process. You know, whether that's muscle memory, speed to movement, and that's kit placement. It all, you know, it's all this stuff that gets refined over time.
I just think it's just so inefficient when you're on the ground and you're on a moving firefight. You're with the guys. You're putting rounds down. You ditch a mag on the ground. You're putting more rounds down. You've then got to take your eyes away from contact. You need to put your gun down. Then got to grab your magazine off the floor and stuff it in a pocket or anything. In the time that you spent doing that, you could have re-indexed it. I just think it's shit.
Right.
We done Longmore a couple of months ago. 70 players on site. 2 of us using nods. That was me, and Ash from Eagle Eye was a complete tear up. Tim, check your messages. Okay, we'll do. Beef jerky, best food ever. Yeah, you did a review on the Pulsar nods, looking at buying until my first Muslim nods seem sick as fuck. Is they a good option or still red light? I wouldn't get a Pulsar. I would go to at least Gen 2 Plus. Before anything lower than that, just don't bother. The Pulsar nods, now looking at them and looking at the options and whatever, I just wouldn't waste your money on them. They need IR light to work well. So I would I'd avoid it. I'd just get Gen 2 Plus, Necrom.
Yeah.
Skips multi-pack, snack attacks, who were the cheats? All you need, boys. Name and shame. Family pack of hummus and breadsticks. Antipasti, olives, breadsticks, annoli, and Kerwin. Mate, Stuart's the one. Certified nonce behaviour.
Right. So I've just checked the messages. So how many people you still got to watch it, mate?
78.
So 78 of you have just been given a 10% discount code with camo raids. So for 24 hours only,
boys,
you can get 10% off, and that's just for 24 hours. For order of full upgrades of camo raids. So if you want a full upgrade done, speak to camo raids now. Like, don't do it in the morning, do it now, because it's only 24 hours, and that's 10% off using the code THG10. Okay, that will give you 10% off for a full upgrade. God damn, boys. where's my discount? So yeah, mate, get on that. Does that
I mean,
count?
that's £100 off roughly, right? So it's about 900 and something odd quid for full upgrade. So that's £100 off. So guys, for watching this live stream, if you want to go and get an upgrade, you can do that, and you're going to get £100 off. So 10% off full upgrades at camo, 24 hours for the 79 viewers.
Yeah. So again, that doesn't mean that can be any gun. It hasn't got to be a SCAR, although you should probably get a SCAR. 416 MP5 doesn't matter.
Right, so there you go, guys. Okay, so let's quickly bounce back to the comments. We'll see what else is in there. Jumping on that now. Still need my MP5 upgrading. There you go, then, boys. You can head over to camo. You get 10% off a full upgrade. Right, any more questions? Shit, my phone has got about 1 million things on it.
We're gonna bounce.
We are indeed. So, fire your questions. But I want the TSA parts in it. Mate, I wouldn't go anywhere near that spaghetti stuff. It's awful. I'm joking. Jamie, no, I love you.
There's just visions
loaded with TSA.
of Marek literally just pouring like ravioli into the scar stock like that.
Fusilli, just fusilli all over the place. Oh, you can have some, and you can have some. You can have some.
WKD, the discount code is up on the little banner there. It's THG10.
Yeah, THG10. Yeah, let me just quickly change this. Banners.
Yes, Jay, definitely, mate. Was good meeting you at the weekend, mate. We'll definitely, by the sounds of things, have to hook up an event up your way soon. We'll make a little road trip of it. Get a few of us boys together.
Yeah, Jay, it was great running out of you at the weekend. Again, that was the highlight.
Brad as well.
Yeah, great guys. Really, really enjoyed it. The event had some big ups and downs, big ups and downs, but in the grand scheme of everything, it was still fun. And hanging out with Richie, going out and do what we do, absolutely bodying, using the platforms as best we can, facilitating every piece of kit we've got to the maximum. That's what we do. That's what we enjoy. And that's what made it fun. At the end of the day, people did get salty. And I think one of the reasons that they got salty so quick is that we advanced a lot of ground and we were on the front line for a long period of time. We took very little casualties and we dropped a load of fucking players. It's just the facts of the day. And people didn't like that. So they put a Marshal with us. And even with the Marshal with us, we still carried on doing what we were doing before. And I think that's even more injury to insult because people wanted us to be cheating. They didn't want to think that we were doing something that was better than what they were doing. And when they put someone with us, I think they expected that. And when they didn't see that happening, they were like, oh, and actually, these guys have just got good equipment and putting decent rounds down. I think that was upsetting for a few players and it made them even more salty. I was the guy who didn't take his hits. Luke, I was the guy who didn't take his hits, by the way.
I knew it was him. I did.
What, the one covering his face in the alley? If that was him. What a scumbag. Hold on. What's quickly running?
What did you say?
Oh, mate, it'd be Dad and Nan every single time rather than listening to Fem. I absolutely can't stand her. She's useless. Okay. I was the guy who didn't take his hits. Yeah, good for you, mate. Well done.
Money, no object. What would you get, or do you already have it? I'm going to say, for me personally, I don't know about you, Tim.
Yeah.
It would either be rifle mounted
thermal,
clip-on thermal, so thermal in front of the scope.
Yeah.
Or it'd be clip-on thermal for the MV, so you get outline thermal.
Yeah. The NVR or whatever it's called.
Something like that, yeah. But that's $1 bills, y'all.
Clip-on thermal. I like the idea of. Don't know. There's a few bits that I like. There's some stuff I like the idea of that now I'm thinking about it is probably not far out of reach. So there's some bits that THG want to get that I think is that are going to be coming soon. Remember that video, Richie, in the car park? I sent it to you on Insta.
Yes.
I want one of them.
Oh yeah, same. I mean, is this one of these conversations where we had a couple of years ago, Robin? Mate, wouldn't it be cool if?
Yeah.
6 months later,
we've got them. Yeah. I think it's exactly that.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of those. I thought it was rain.
Pitter patter. Perhaps that's what that cheating scumbag thought in the alleyway. Oh, it's just rain. It's raining.
That's apparently him. Apparently,
it's raining. It's raining BBs.
It's funny because I know it weren't. I know who it was.
Yeah.
He's a rat. He's a ghillie rat. Would you have enjoyed it more if Femme Fatale was there? Yeah, because she's Milsim, bro. Yeah. UK Milsim. Another couple of bikes. No, I wouldn't bother with the bikes. Probably.
People can't be trusted.
Yeah, I think, I'd love to be able to use them, but people are idiots. Maybe it's just a choice of event. Right, guys, I think we're going to wrap.
Yep.
2 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you, everyone, so much for hanging out with us.
It's been good to hang out, and some of the comments, mate, howling, absolutely howling.
Love you guys. Love
yeah.
you guys. So, just to reiterate, if you want to go and pick these up, these are the Torque Precision SFDI. Yep. These will be coming out either really, really soon. If they are out at the moment, we'll get some links up to you real soon. But these are fucking awesome. And there'll be a review of these going up real soon. We will be playing with the Psionics super soon as well. Next event for us is the NVG module. It is fully booked. If you're desperate to get on, drop me a message. Me and Richie will try and squeeze you guys on if you want to come down to it. It's in Dover on the 21st of October. It's from the evening on Saturday through till Sunday morning. Make sure that you're not going to flag. Come down fucking prepped for it. Make sure your admin's on point. Everything is in the deck that you've been sent. Anything else, Richie?
No, I don't think so. Other than I think a lot of people were in the same. It's nice to see the guys in the comment section that are on the same mindset as us. You know, we're very lucky with the audience we've got. You know, you guys are definitely on a wavelength. So yeah, other than that, guys, like I say, like Tim just said, MVG event coming up, MVG 1 coming up, fully booked. But you know, let us know if you do fancy it. Just drop us a message and we'll see what we can do. Other than that,
keep an eye on the channel. Lots of cool shit going on. Lots of boxes arriving.
Also, guys, just before we bounce, don't forget in the banner there, THG 10 for 10% off a full upgrade from Camo. So if you are thinking about getting an upgrade done, or you had it in your you know,
in your box,
in your mind, you know, to get it done, do it now because it's only lasts for 24 hours. So get that done.
Yeah, it's going to save you about £100.
Yep.
If you use that. So if you're looking at a full upgrade, roughly between 80 to £100, depending on what gun you're going to put in, but it's good saving. Lots more content coming to the channel, lots of new shit. Me and Richie have got a lot going on over the next couple of months. Big plans for next year, which is going to come around super quick. We've got a lot planned for next year, which is going to be really, really exciting. Lots of new stuff, lots of new products, lots of new people to work with. Oh yeah, 2020 teams.
2020,
thanks everyone again. Anything you want to raise with us, any problems, any comments, any questions, you know, we would much prefer that people address it to us in the comments or in a private message. Something you thought that we said's out of turn, please feel free to fire something over. At the same time, if you really enjoyed it, make sure you put a thumbs up on the video and we'll be doing more of these. If there's particular subjects you want us to cover, let us know. We'll do a live stream like this. We'll get all the cool kids in here and we will talk about whatever subject you like, airsoft, Milsim related.
Yeah, awesome. Right.
We out.
Thanks. Yeah. In a piece.
Bye.